Yeah.
Cool. Hello, and welcome to Penguin Live, where we bring the absolute best magic in the entire world directly to you, wherever you happen to be. I'm your host, Dan Harlan. Thank you so much for supporting Live Magic. Now, tonight we've got something really special planned for you. We have a guy who is currently the resident illusionist and mentalist at the Wynn Encore Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, and that is a $2 billion resort, and he is the guy performing magic for all of the clientele that goes to that place. Now, he has been incredibly successful performing strolling magic, and he's going to talk to you about how you can do the same thing. Now, obviously, you're going to have to learn some really great strolling magic. This guy's the guy that can teach it to you because he, when he first came to America, was the 3-time consecutive winner of the Strolling Olympics at the Academy of Magical Arts over there in Hollywood, California. Now, he's going to tell you how you can vastly increase your earnings as a magician. He's going to share his stories and his success secrets. So please join me in welcoming Shimsh. Hey, how are you?
Thank you, Dan. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Hello.
Now, as everybody can probably tell already, our format's going to be a little bit different tonight.
Yes, because let me just tell you about this lecture.
Sure.
It's going to be mostly on the business side of show business. And I am going to teach like 3 different magic effects, but it's going to be later on during the lecture, so bear with me. But the tricks I will be teaching are going to be very powerful and very important to your value and your success and your status and everything else when you talk about the magic. So it's going to be very much about that. So I decided to kind of sit down and talk and relax. I know you guys want to learn magic a lot, but you learn magic all the time on these lectures, and you will be learning 3 magic effects that are going to be great. The reason I was looking over there is because there was another person over there, and now I'll talk to you guys. But yeah, so, we'll get started and, tell you about everything we're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with you kind of explaining, right at the top, you're going to talk about strolling magic and how to make a lot of money doing that. Yes?
Yes.
So why don't you just take over, and then if we have any questions coming in, first of all, we've got a slightly different setup here. So if you do have a question and you're at home, what I want you to do is I want you to tweet it at Penguin Magic. Don't use the hashtag, just tweet at Penguin Magic, because I'm only following one feed, and it's going to be that one. And I'll take any questions that you have and send them over to Shimshi. And I've got a few of mine that are prepared, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Sounds good. Let me tell you a little bit about myself first. I started doing magic when I was 12 years old. By the time I was 13, I did my first paying gig. It was just 20 shekels back in Israel, which is like $5. But I was lucky and fortunate enough to never have to get a real job, even though now I work 7 days a week. But never made too much money, always doing okay, but was always on my own and independent, and was very lucky to make a living only doing magic. And I moved to the States in 2000, just before 2000, and lived in LA for 5 years. Made okay money. I never wanted to do any other job, never wanted to have any other job than magic. Even if I had to live in my car, I just wanted to make sure that I make magic my living. So it was hard sometimes, but then I got my first big break when I was becoming, they called me to be the resident magician over at the Mirage.
Well, if I can ask, how did they find out about you?
It was a coincidence, really. I just happened to hang in Las Vegas and went to a party, did some magic, and the president of the Mirage just happened to be there. Okay. He was also very young, so I didn't really, I didn't know he was a president or anything.
You wouldn't have recognized him standing out.
Exactly. Yeah. I wasn't nervous or anything. They kept telling me, "Do magic for you," and I kind of ignored him. So I guess that kind of worked. So same technique I used for girls back in the day. Yeah, and he just called me. It was just happened to be right after Siegfried and Roy's tragedy, and they wanted to bring some more magic, so they had me do magic there 5 days a week for 5 hours. 5 hours of strolling magic. I don't know if you've ever done 5 hours of strolling magic.
Wow.
Then do it 5 days a week for almost 2 years.
Wow.
All right? And I went from making probably at most $2,000 a month back in LA to making $2,500 a week over at the Mirage. Not including tips, and so it was a great gig for me. This is what I learned how to network and all that. And after that, I did the V Show, the World's Greatest Magic Show, performed on stage. But it wasn't until I started working at the Wynn that I realized and learned all the secrets to how really get the right clientele and how to sell yourself correctly. Just prior to that, 2008, the recession hit.
Sure.
And it hit me pretty hard. We ended up losing my house, both cars, everything that we had. So it sprung me to, basically call my manager, who really wasn't doing much at the time, and ask him to get me some gigs at a high-end restaurant where I can, network with people.
Now, if you don't mind, before we get into networking, which is a critical thing for you to talk about, I want to go back to the first break that you had, and I just want to explain to people. I think that they've got to understand that it's not just a matter of luck when you get a break. Because you were working constantly and you were earning, your keep and getting some awards. You were ready when the call came in.
Sure.
You can't get a break unless you're ready for it.
Nope.
So I think, maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
right?
we'll get to
When
that.
we get to that?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
get to that later. But
Yeah, sure.
and I will be teaching that trick that got me that break.
Great.
And it's really an amazing one, and we'll talk all about it. But the reason I wanted to lead this story in is because as soon as the recession hit, and I asked for different, he asked me to meet somebody over at the Wynn who introduced me to the president, and that's how I got, to be working there, and I've been there for 5 years now. And like I said, this is where I've learned all the ins and outs and everything. So we'll get right to it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah?
Let's get right to it. Yeah.
Cool. So there are a few things that you want to get, because I didn't understand that when I was working at the Mirage. First thing, if you want to get a lot of money for doing strolling magic or magic in general, you have to get to the right people, the right clientele who would pay that money. But it's more than that. You have to frame yourself in a certain way that would make them believe that you're worth a lot of money. And let me share a small story that made me realize that. When I was working at the Mirage, I was doing strolling magic. They told me this billionaire came to the table, and he had a private jet, a huge private jet, and he's a millionaire. And I did a trick for him, and the first trick I did, he threw down $300 on the table. He says, "That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Here's $300." And then I went on doing magic for him. Then he called me to book me for a show, and I quoted him, I think like $5,000 to do strolling magic for him over there, and he was kind of like in shock. I know he's a billionaire. I know he can afford it,
Right.
and ended up not booking it. So I started thinking, if he was so happy, he called me, why didn't he pay that much? And it came to realization that he didn't think it was worth that much. He think I was trying to use him, I guess, in some way or what. And I realized that rich people don't care paying a lot of money for something, but they have to know it's a name brand. So rich people don't care paying $500 for a pair of jeans as long as they know that it's Prada or Versace or True Religion or whatever that is. But if they see a pair of jeans that they don't know the brand, they will never buy it for that much. So that's kind of like what you have to do. You have to create your perceived value to make sure that not only he has the money, but, oh my God, this guy, we have to have him. He is the guy to have. And
Sure.
he has money, and I'm sure he cost a lot of money. So these are the main two parts that we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
But before we get going into talk about how we meet all the clientele, let me just show you the trick that I was performing for that billionaire over there.
Yeah.
So you can, and we'll get started with all that stuff. So,
Want to find somebody out here?
Yeah. Did anybody bring a deck of cards with them? You actually did. Oh man. All right. Shoot. It's not even open yet. It's not even open. All right. So we'll use mine. Do you mind? Actually, no. We can use that. I don't care. Yeah. Sure. who is the lady next to you? What is your name?
Natalia.
Natalia? Are you a magician?
I am not.
Are you a magician's boyfriend? Good. Come over here. What are you doing here? All right. Do you know how to open this box?
Yeah, it was like a little.
I'll do it. That's fine. It's actually perfect when people do have their own deck because this can be done. I did bring my own deck, but we'll use that. Okay. This is a quick way of opening it. Yes, you can see the cards are all shuffled and mixed. Yeah? Good. Could you just grab any card for me? Thank you. No, I'm kidding. I don't suck that much. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to check the cards, make sure there's nothing tricky about them. It's his deck, so I wouldn't trust him. You can shuffle if you want, do whatever you want. But get one for yourself and give me the rest, but don't let me see it. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure nothing is wrong with the deck. Okay, I'm going to close my eyes, look at it, show it to everybody else, make sure I'm not looking. Did everybody see it? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to turn back and just say stop whenever you feel like it.
Stop.
May I have it face down? Now, I'm sure you've seen magicians find cards before, right? Everybody did. That's why I'm going to try and show you something you haven't seen. I'm not even going to touch the cards. I'm going to put them right over here. And nothing in my hands?
No.
You can touch? That was weird. Okay. We'll try. Here we go. You check the cards, yes?
Yeah.
Watch. Do you see my shadow over the cards?
Yeah.
Yeah? I'm actually going to try to move the cards with my shadow. You can use this hand as well. And again, nothing in my hands. You can actually hold my hands. Yeah? My wrist, actually, because I need to still snap my fingers. Yeah, ready? Watch the cards. Watch. Yeah, go ahead. Or not. Okay. Watch the cards. Watch. Can you turn over for me?
Yeah.
Is that it?
How in the world?
I don't know. Was this the right card?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Actually, even if that was the wrong card, it'd still be a pretty good trick, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm glad it was the right one. And you get a deck as a souvenir. It's a present.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thanks, you guys. So this is the old haunted deck, but
Yeah.
this is my version, and it has a lot of my takes on it. 80% of the time, I open with this trick, and let me.
And it's great. Before you even get into teaching
Yeah.
it, I think we'll talk about some of the moments because one of the things that I really like, I've seen a lot of your performances in video, and you're very relaxed. You're not concerned about the effect, getting to the finish as much as you're talking with the people and making sure that everything is good. And it's not like you're rushing too much or taking too much time, So maybe when you go through the explanation, you can show how every little moment that you're doing is proving that there's nothing extra, even though there really is something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Bible book is Designing Miracles by Darwin Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
He explains there, if you haven't read it, it's a must. He explains how to design an effect to make sure you get to the most amazing part. And one of the things he says is, magic is the illusion of impossibility. And the only way you can know that something's impossible is by eliminating all the possible ways. If you can do that before you get to the climax, you have a true moment of wonderment.
Right.
So, that's why, and I've learned all those things because later on people grabbed the cards. When I did it, I didn't let them check the cards. They grabbed it and they were looking at it, But what it did was the moment when the magic happened, their eyes were still squinting. It didn't go like this.
Yeah.
Because they were still processing, how could I work? They go this, and in the end they go, look, I don't know how it worked. But if you can listen to your audience and take all these moments and put them before the climax.
Yeah, so you're finding out that if they really want to examine the prop afterwards, it's better if they do it beforehand because that way by the time you get to that climax, they know that it's normal, and then they just release their amazement.
Exactly, yeah. Whatever they think, not necessarily let them examine, like if we're talking about other tricks, if you just want something proven that it's ordinary, somehow prove it first before you get to it.
Sure.
And it could be in an entertaining way, just like I did pick and go, no, I'm kidding, I don't suck that much. Actually, grab the cards in your hands and so on.
Yeah.
So, Not sure. We have like a lot of magic fans. Everybody's
Absolutely.
a magician, right
Yeah,
there.
everybody.
So everybody's familiar with the loops, and that's how I used to do with the haunted deck in the beginning. And once I started working with this hookup, which is called a Leclerc hookup, I have it with me right here.
out here,
I'll
right.
take it off for now because I'm going to put on the visible Leclerc hookup. I realized that with the loops, I was constrained. My hands were over here, and this made it so much better. I had people who were, thinking. So, let's see over here. I think yes. Hopefully, you guys can see that. If not, I'll open my jacket. Can you get a close up on
Probably in
this?
the
Do you
close-up.
think you can see it? Good. So it's basically a piece of tape. You wrap it. This is just sewing thread, and in the end of it, there is a little piece of wax there. Okay. The thread that I'm using is black. It's just very, very, very thin. Let me take off my jacket for this, so you guys will be able to see the. You didn't woo when I took off my jacket. That's fine. That's fine. All right. So, yeah, the one I'm using is just very, very thin, invisible thread. This is just regular sewing thread. Okay. And this is called a Leclerc hookup. It goes behind my ear. By the way, talking about, possible things, a lot of people think I use my ring as magnets and stuff, so I never perform with my ring as well. So these are just little things that you listen to the audience and, you take it from there. So this is the hookup. It goes from the ear, taped to the ear, all the way to here. This is maybe slightly a little bit long. It could be shortened a little bit, but that's a fine size. So basically, it goes about this much below your belt line. Okay, you can zoom out. Perfect. So it goes from here to here, and this is what you do when you get ready to do the magic. First of all, this is attached. The wax is attached to the button. If you don't wear a jacket, it can be attached to your belt. And there's other ways to do it, but we'll get to that later, okay? So for right now, this is where the wax is my belt. It goes from here to here. You get a deck of cards. In Las Vegas, a lot of times people do have their own decks. They think I'm joking, and they give it to me. This is so much more amazing if it's their deck. They don't have to check it, obviously, if it's their deck. So if they don't, show the cards all different, and then I let them examine it. I'll even say sometimes, make sure there are no magnets or strings or anything like that. Make sure it's a normal deck. I'm not afraid to do that because I'm letting her check it. So she grabs one for herself and gives me the rest. While she's checking the card, I casually put my hands like this. Now, one hand would be doing this and putting it right there where my nail is, the piece of wax. That's where it needs to be. So again, it's over here on the belt or on the button. The way I do it, I just have my hands like this. So I can come down with whatever this hand's doing, the other one is covering it and you can't see it. And then I come down and come back to this position a couple of times as I talk. All right. So in full speed, it looks like this. Go ahead and check the cards for me. Make sure I'm not doing anything tricky. Make sure the cards are normal. You have it? Good. As soon as she gives me the deck back, I'm about to put the piece of wax in the middle. Doesn't have to be exact, but anywhere in the middle. It's a good cover-up to have her show the card at the same time as well. So go ahead, show the card to everybody. As everybody's looking, I just place it right over there. It goes right to the middle. Now, from this point, you want to have the thread wrap around like this. So as soon as I put it on, I wrap around like this, and you can feel with your ear the moment that it's stretched for it not to break. In fact, at that point, when I tell her, okay, now tell me where to stop, I take my thumb and I make sure I feel the thread, make sure that it's taut, so it's not like loose right over here, because you want it to stay in the middle. So I'll do this. I'll make sure it's in the middle. I'll hold it with this finger as well. and then I'll say, tell me when to stop. Doesn't matter where she stops. I put my finger right there. I can feel the thread. I will take her card, and I will put it in. So now what you have is a piece of thread comes from the ear, wrapped around her card, and back out. So all you have to do is do this, and it pushes out. Okay? So at this point, I take it and I put it on the table. It's always better if you have a table. If you don't have a table, I'll let people put both of their hands like this. I put it on theirs, and I do it on their hand. So the basic effect is to have the cards move and the cup jumps out. I found that it's a lot more amazing and more theatrical if you use your shadow to do that. It gets really good reactions. She's like, okay, that's how it works. The shadow didn't have to do with it. But it really makes it looks legitimate and interesting. Okay, so I like this point, once I put it down, you can zoom out a little bit, is to let him check my hands, make sure I have nothing in my hands. They're touching my hands. I always say, that felt weird no matter what they do, because it'll always be weird no matter what they do, because how am I supposed to touch your hands? Gets a laugh there, and then I come to here, and it's very important to just basically show that your hands are empty. And when you were referring to I'm always casual and and having fun with them, it's completely true up until the moment where I get to the magic. I always take it seriously. It just makes things a lot more amazing when you believe in your own magic. So once I put it down, I do this, and as I grab the shadow, I basically zoom out a little bit, all the way so you can see my full body. Good. As I do this, I lean back basically slowly, and that just pulls the thread. Okay. If you don't have a shadow, by the way, don't worry about it. Just do whatever magic gesture you want to do. Doesn't have to be cheesy, but it's important that there's always a magic gesture. The magic has to come from you. Okay. I like to switch hands in the middle so it shows that it doesn't attach to either hand, because that's what goes through people's minds. And what I love the most about this effect is that there's two climaxes. First, it moves, it gets really amazing, and then I snap and it pops out. Now, normally I would have people on both of my sides, and I'll ask them to hold my wrist to make sure I can't move, and I'll just do this. It got a little weird with her because it was just one person. What I didn't like about that is that it took too long to get to the second climax. But normally, hold my wrist, watch. I direct my attention there. By the way, in magic, just like comedy, there's a timing thing. You have to wait to the right timing. So you have to let it build up the tension and then release, and then it comes out. And all you do there is just comes out a little bit, and nobody can tell. It'll take some practice to do it a few times without breaking the thread, but once you get it, you'll be able to feel it. At that point, do not take a long time before you show the card. They don't care if it's the right card. The frickin' card just jumped out of the deck. Okay? Do not build it up. It'll just ruin it. In fact, I will usually, and one good way to get applause cues is just to do this and just drop it down. And then you relax. Build tension, then relax. That's when you get your applause. As you get your applause, you smile, you relax, and you take the wax back off. Basically, just take it with my forefinger, move it to my thumb, and put the cards down in case somebody wants to check them. And as I kind of bow, just put it back there, keep talking, and I'm clean.
Yeah.
Let me position this in a very random place again. Good. All right. I'm not going to be teaching any memorized deck tonight.
No, but it's nice to keep it set up.
I'm the
isn't it?
OCD like that. I have to have it correct. So yeah, this is the trick that I did for that guy, and I have to make sure I'm not breaking my other thread, because we'll get to that later. Actually, let me put it again on.
Do you choose a particular brand of invisible thread?
Yes, I like the Shimsh ink brand. It's a great brand. Yeah, you know what? I used to sell my own. I don't sell them anymore, and I just get it complicated with that. That's not good. All right. I forgot I have the fake one on.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So an hour later, we'll be able to, you know what? I have my out over there, so
Yeah, cool.
we'll use that later. Yeah, so just invisible thread. You don't want it too elastic. You want to be able to feel the tension on the. You want to be able to feel the tension on the thread before its breaking point. So the one I'm using is actually extra thin, which could break easier. But I've done it so much that I'm not afraid.
Right.
The next trick I'll be doing, I will talk a little bit more about how not to break the thread and all
Right,
that.
right.
But this is the trick that the guy saw, and it was absolutely amazing, threw $300. I always say, don't, I'm sure you've seen magicians find cards before, so I'm going to try to show you something you haven't seen. And then I go into it. And before I used to say that, it used to be, wow, that's amazing. After I used to say it, I want to say maybe 30% of the time people say, oh my God, I've never seen that one before. It's almost as if you suggested
Basically
that to
telling
them
what they're going to think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, probably 95% of people probably 99% of people you perform for, they haven't seen the haunted deck. So it's a good thing to say. It's my excuse to basically to defend myself for doing a card trick right away. Some people have misconceptions of card tricks, like lay people. Oh, it's card tricks. So if they do say, oh, it's card trick, I say, no, it's magic. I don't do tricks. But with magicians, I always refer to it as tricks, obviously. But that's part of the framing, which we'll get to right now.
Yeah, sure, great. Let's
Cool.
do it. Yeah.
Any questions about the trick
Let
itself?
me see if we have.
I know it was hard to see the
Yeah, all they were really
invisible thread.
concerned with for that specific trick was the invisible thread, which brand, but they can try out different brands. And,
Yeah.
you know, maybe we'll just very quickly before we move on,
Sure.
talk a little bit about lighting conditions and getting comfortable with
Sure.
with the thread.
Yeah.
You know. When you work with thread for a long time, obviously you're very comfortable with it. Is just because you put it on and you wear it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. You practice a lot. I really want to. Okay, we'll give a few tips because it has
Just
to do a
quickly.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing is if you attach. When you attach it to the button, that's where it really normally is. There are things going between that. You reach to your pockets all the time, and that's where it can really break. During the trick, if you practice enough, it shouldn't break. If it does break, and it happens occasionally, move on to a different card trick. People don't know what you're about to do.
Right.
So it's really okay. Even if somebody saw me do something and they say, hey, I can do that one for him in the middle, it breaks, I'm just going to say, oh, let me show you something better. And I'll go do a setup, come back later and do it for them. When I do stage shows, I have a lot of outs getting ready, scouted on the stage, and I can get into them. But once it's here, you just have to be aware of it. And if you wear it on all the time, then you become aware. I reach the things in my pockets all the time. And I do things all the time with it. So that's one way of not breaking it. As far as lighting, you don't want any backlight. That is your enemy. So any lights that come behind you, that's when they can see it. Preferably to stay away from direct lighting. Do you guys mind showing the lighting you have over here?
We have some of the most challenging lighting under which to do thread work because we've got lots of direct.
But I'll be
lights.
able to know. So.
Yeah,
Which one is that? I'm confused.
That one was up there.
There. Doesn't matter. But okay, so if you have different lights, and I see them,
That's a strong one there.
those kind of lights, not just in studio settings anymore. You see them a lot in high fashion restaurants and stuff. You don't want it to come behind you. Yeah. So if you see all those lights, if I were to just stand in between the two lights to know that this doesn't hit me directly, then I know I'm good. Okay. The backlight is the thing you have to watch out for the most because you might not be able to see it.
Yeah, like here I am, and I can see that, and that's probably this one.
No, it's this one.
I think it's that one there?
It's this one because it's from behind me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I can't see it. If I'll stand over here, you will not see it.
Won't see it. Yep, and you're just between them.
Yeah, so you just have to be aware of it and play with it, and you sometimes might want to do this. So right now it's between my thumb and this thumb, and I just kind of pass it around. if you do stage shows. If you do close-up, don't go to the house and do that. But you'll learn and realize when people can see it and when you can't see it.
Yeah.
So that is the main thing.
As long as you don't mind, I just want to interject a very, very brief story.
By the way, let me just say,
has anybody ever seen you doing that? Anybody that booked you for a gig? And
not that I know of. They might have thought I was a weirdo magician, but not that I know of.
All right.
All the new LED lights are great for invisible thread because it's less direct, it's more of a wash.
Sure.
And it's amazing. I've done the floating credit card trick on the Kris Jenner show. And they wanted me to do it on the Ellen show as well. And I went there and I had a friend of mine sitting in the chair and you could see it. For some reason with the haunted deck, she couldn't really see it from her seat. But the other one, it was just too risky, so I didn't do it. But I went to the Kris Jenner show and there's all the new LED lights and nobody could see it anywhere. So I said, sure, let me do it. So sometimes you have to make, a decision on the spot. So
that's good to know. It's good to know. Yeah.
All right. So now that you have your opener, basically we talked about it. It's how to get your clientele and then how to make yourself a name brand that is worth money. So how do you get your clientele? And this is for, here in America, and we'll talk about everywhere else in the world. First things first is high-end restaurants. When I first got to LA, I did magic at TGI Fridays, making $7 for 3 hours, and the people who called me to booked me for birthday parties and wanted to pay less because I'm the magician they saw at TGI Fridays. So I learned very quickly and decided to go to all the restaurants in Beverly Hills, Bel Air, and now I'm the magician at the Bel Air restaurant, whatever that is. I think it was the Bel Air Bar and Grill back then. And Beverly Hills, Mr. Chow's, and I did magic for them and just kind of went there cold and got the gig like this. I did not charge them any money. You don't care about the $70 that they're going to pay you, and you don't want them to fire you at one point saying, managers change, you know what, it's another expense, we don't want it. You don't care about that $70. It doesn't matter. It does two things. First, it buys you freedom. You can leave there whenever you want if you get a gig. You just have to let them know. If you're tired after 2 hours, you don't want to do the third hour, you can go. They're not paying you. Don't even ask for them to feed you. If they're offering, great. Go over there, and your goal is not even to do magic for tips. Your goal is to do magic and give away your business card to wealthy people. That's what you want to do. I mean, you'll take tips, but don't ever solicit tips. So that is a great thing that everybody can do anywhere.
Well, let me just ask, because I actually found, and maybe you found the same thing, did you think it was easier to get a walk-around gig at a high-end restaurant as opposed to like a TGI Fridays or something like that,
I don't know if it was easier or harder. It's probably the same difficulty level.
But the dividends are better?
Say it again?
But the dividends are better, the results are better, so
yes,
the amount of...
the results are so much
challenge,
better. Yeah. But it's not just that. It's the fact that... sorry, my line of thought escaped me. You say your question again?
Yeah, it was just whether you found, this is the reason I asked the question.
Oh, if it was easier. No, I was going to say that you have to be proper dressed when you go over there, which again we'll talk to in a little bit. But yeah, you have to just be, you have to look like you're one of the people who dines there.
Yeah.
They don't want to see somebody, who's probably punk rock or somebody, So if, and when I went to my Bel Air restaurant gig, I remember it till today, they said, I don't know if that's the right clientele here and this and that. And I said, they said we would get really, really older people. There was a couple there, was, in their 70s or 80s. They just come down from their Bel Air house to do some magic, to eat, and see magic. So I just said, let me show you right now. I went over there and did magic for them. And, you have to know your audience, and you have to know how to behave and which jokes to eliminate, and don't do card to fly. Yeah. And which I've made that mistake before.
Did you actually do that in that kind of setting?
It wasn't in that kind of setting. It was even, don't do that in TGI Fridays either.
Yeah.
That's where I learned it. Actually, it was a place called Dakotas in Simi Valley where I did it, and they all got mad. So as long as you're playing the part, it should be fine.
Yeah. I just this is the reason that I asked the question, because I just found that when you go to a higher end restaurant, they typically are looking for something that will set the restaurant apart, that's classy. So as long as you come in with the right attitude and dressed properly, they're almost ready for that.
I mean, do you think the Wynn considered to have a magician roaming in their restaurants? They have the billionaires of the world hanging around over there. And when my manager talked to the guy over there, he said, I don't know about this, You know what, let me check his skills. My daughter has a graduation party. Maybe he can go do magic there. I'm like, sure, I'll do a free gig for you. And then, as long as they see you play the part.
Yeah. As soon as they see it, I think they can see that it fits.
Exactly.
Right?
They hear magician and they think, really, balloon animals and this and that. So, which again we'll get to in a little
We'll
bit.
talk about that too.
So, high-end restaurants. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about the money. Give away business cards. If you don't seem like you're about to get your one tips, dude, believe me, the tips will go higher. There'll be bigger tips. Benefits and charity events.
Okay, sure.
The more expensive the plates are, I've done charity events that the plates are $5,000 and $10,000 a plate, but you can find them $300, $400, $500. That's where those wealthy people hang around. And if you just go, you donate your time. First of all, you've done something great, and then you ended up doing magic to, again, wealthy people and give away a business card. So over there, country clubs are a great place. The more expensive the country club, the better it is. Mm-hmm. But basically, these are the main three ones that I would recommend. But basically, anywhere you can imagine that wealthy people hang around in, because that's what I was going to say, as far as people, if you're from Brazil or from wherever you are, go to wherever you know where they hang out, and that's where you should go do your magic and entertain
Now,
them.
what about somebody, because I know that somebody will probably ask, so what about somebody that is in the middle of pretty much nowhere?
Yep.
What are they going to do?
It's a tough answer.
Yeah.
Well, it's an easy answer, but it'll be tough to receive it. You have to move.
Yeah.
You can't make money if you're in a place that nobody's making money.
Right.
I mean, you can always call agents and event planners, around the country and try to sell yourself, which is tough, but you can do that. But that's more usually for stage performers and corporate events. Mm-hmm. Then they'll book you anywhere, and you can live in mid-America and go anywhere. But if you want to do it through strolling magic to wealthy people, I mean, I moved from Israel because I didn't think that in Israel I can do what I want to do.
Yeah,
and that's why I moved to the States.
And you grew up on the outside of Tel Aviv, of the big city, and you probably did most of your work going into the city, and then eventually moving to America to.
Yeah, I didn't know all these stuff right back then.
Oh,
so I
so
just
yeah.
advertised. Actually, it's funny because my dad reminded me. My town is an okay town. I used to advertise in local ads in Ramat Sharon and Herzliya, which are like the richer parts of Israel.
Yeah.
I guess I was always thinking like that.
Well,
I forgot about that.
But
I would advertise in local papers in other cities.
It sort of makes sense. To, you can't get money from people that don't have money.
Exactly.
So you can't increase your earnings unless you go to where it is.
Yep.
And I grew up in a small town too, and I would always go to outlying areas that had bigger communities, bigger cities, and and do bigger shows.
Exactly.
So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So finding the right clientele is just one part.
We do have a question in the audience, so we got a microphone over there. Yep.
So when you talk about these restaurants you work, are you doing basic table hopping at these higher end restaurants? Were you behind the bar doing a formal show? What did your show look like at these restaurants?
I do table hopping. I try not to approach there myself, the table. I try to have the manager introduce me and say, we have our resident illusionist tonight. Do you want me to send him over? It does two things. First, it makes it easier on you. I found that the hardest thing energy-wise is to go ask for people, and if you get declined, I'm like, I don't want to interrupt them. They're freaking eating, So, So I would have the manager go ask if they want to see. If not, I will go approach myself, but I will present, myself in a way that make him see, oh, wow, I wouldn't be afraid to say, hi, my name is Shimshi, I'm the resident illusionist. I've actually done some magic on the Ellen Show on America's Got Talent, but the restaurant wanted me to entertain all the fine people of the restaurants, and I came for you guys. not to brag and not to name drop, but to get them in a better mind setting of, oh, wow, rather than, huh? Magic, balloons, what are you going to do? Oh, what? You America's Got Talent? Yeah, let's see. And that helps a lot. So that's what I would do. But if the manager gets you to introduce you, it's so much better because now they're ready for you. Come in, you're like almost like a star, and and do the magic. And the haunted deck would be my my opener trick 99% of the time, and it's a really good strong one. So yeah, and I would do no more than 5 minutes. In the end, I will give away my business card and walk off.
So very, very quick, very short set at the tables. You don't do like a longer...
Yeah, I don't do a longer set. All right, let me give you like my standard setting. I have so many now, but one of my favorites is haunted deck, think of a card trick, brainwave deck, and a floating credit card.
Yeah, pretty quick.
And that's it. So this is the long one, 2 short ones, and another long one with multi-climaxes.
Yeah.
And then if they love it, they want to see one more, I have one more extra for them, but it has to top the last thing I did.
Yeah.
Or at least be as equally as impressive. And I'll always have that ready. So.
All right, yeah, so it's not much to carry around with you either, so it's not much to really concern yourself with. Solid material that you know inside out that hits really strong.
2 decks of cards and invisible thread.
Yeah, great.
All right, so now that we met the people, how do we get them to think that you're basically rich? What did I say? You got to fake it before you make it. But it's hard when you don't have the money to act like it. So you have to pay attention to all the little details and realize what makes it. So we'll start with the way you dress. Yeah, your appearance is very important. I've seen a lot of magicians with cheap suits, with the way they wear it and everything, and I was one of them. Don't laugh, because I was one of them. When I was at the Mirage, that's what I wore. I went to Men's Warehouse, I bought a suit for $200, and that's what didn't click yet for me, So your suit has to be fitted. So can you zoom in on this for a second? I don't know if you guys see this right here. Yeah, you can see all those little stitching over there. That says money. These are things that people who wear nice suits will know. Okay, so it has to be one like this. There's little details. You can zoom back. Yeah, little details with the double pockets. You'll probably seen Ryan Seacrest, and all those little things make a big difference. Okay, the lining is great. Watch that. I'm very careful with my invisible thread. I can feel it. I can feel the tension. I'm not opening it too much. Now it's released. Now I can open more. All right, so the lining is very impressive. So let me just tell you, Ted Baker, to me, has the best suits. You can go to tedbaker.com. It's coming out of London. But don't make the mistake of buying the full price suit. I have. There's in the forum shops in Las Vegas, there is a Ted Baker. I paid $1,200 suit for it. And then I went to the outlet like a month later. I saw the exact same suit for $300. So if you don't have an outlet in your area, you can actually call outlets in different places, even if you don't have Ted Baker. You see a suit that you like, you call the different outlets and see. It just means that it's from previous seasons. It means nothing. Yeah. It's the same suit, a third of the price. And you have to get it fitted. Even if you're overweight, people think that, I shouldn't get it fitted. But even if you're overweight, make it fitted. Actually it complements your body more. But more importantly, it says money. And that's what you want to do. And unfortunately, there's not much to save. You kind of get what you paid for. If you can find somebody to tailor your suit for less money, that's great. But if not...
But typically you're paying for better tailoring.
Yeah. Myself, because I'm skinny, I get like a size lower. This is like a 36 or a 38. I don't have to do anything here, but I have to elongate my sleeves because they're too short. If there is, you see, I've maxed the sleeves here. Can I see your sleeves? You see how much area you have here in your sleeve? All this could be longer. Yeah. I've maxed it on my sleeves just because, I get them thin. So Ted Baker is my favorite for suits. Has a lot of pockets as well. Great for magicians. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they have a lot of suits with the secret zipper here. So that's my favorite for suits. Okay.
Cool.
Have that stitching and fitted, and it'll save money. Of course, if you can go, custom-made suit, but those go crazy expensive.
Right.
You don't need to.
Now, when you're starting out and you can't afford that, well, first of all, you go to the outlet. You get what you can get for that price. But let's say that you're starting out completely and you really can't afford it at all.
It's a great question.
Would you? Yeah. What would you recommend?
Well, I've seen somebody I complimented on his suit. I was like, "Wow, that's a great suit," and he said, "Oh yeah, I bought it in H&M, but I got it fitted."
So
as long as you get it, custom made, and this didn't used to be popular at all. The stitching on the suit, now it's popular. So I think even H&M and places have it. So look for places that look like that expensive suit and buy that, and then get it fitted, because that's what really makes it look like you have money. So that's one good way of doing it. That's what I do with my shoes. I just don't like to wear uncomfortable shoes. So you look at Prada shoes, you look at all the nice shoes, see what they look like. Not that bulky, wide, which personally I actually like the wider end of the shoe than the pointy one. This is more of the pointy one. I actually like the wider more.
Is it like this or something even more wider than that?
Yeah. But even more pointy is good. I'm sorry?
I'll take my shoe off. So like.
I think the smell.
I should probably put it back on.
So, even though I like them, a longish shoe, it's a tip that I got from a designer and a fashion guy, and they make your feet look longer and more pointed, and it complements your body more. So I buy them my shoes at Aldo. They're very inexpensive shoes. They look good and they're comfortable. So at least they look like expensive shoes.
Yeah.
Now, and then the shirts.
Would you say, sure, go on. But
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask if you think that when somebody first starts making some money doing magic, do you think that one of the most important things for them to reinvest in is their appearance? Like as soon as they start making some money at magic, that's
I think so,
better than props, right?
Yes.
Yeah, just invest in yourself,
Yes.
and then you'll.
If you
you'll
do
build
the
your
tricks
brand.
I'm going to tell you to do today,
Yeah.
you don't need any more tricks to get started. I mean, we all love to learn more and buy more
Right.
and spend $2,000 on electronic pads, but you get the same thing from a center tear and a peak that you get from an electronic pad. Trust me. Invest in your appearance. You need an invisible thread, a deck of cards, and a peak or a center tear.
Yeah. All right, let's hear about
you're good.
Let's hear about shirts.
So shirts, and again, everything that I'm telling you is basically you look at wealthy people, you look how they act, how they dress, and you mimic it, but you have to pay attention to the details. It's not the extravagant watch, that you see the rappers watch. You look at the subtle, people, and you see what they have. So French cuffs for shirts. Rich people always have the French cuffs.
Yep.
And it just really looks good. If it could be striped shirt or solid white, but the French cuffs really add another element to it. Okay, I get my shirts either from Ted Baker or from Pink. Thomas Pink. So they have great shirts. Again, I made a mistake of buying a $200 shirt from Pink, and then it happened when there was a shirt that I really, really loved, and I wanted to get 3 of those because I wanted to do it in my stage shows all the time. And they said, it's out of season already. You might try the outlets. I'm like, outlets? I didn't know Pink had outlets. Yeah, here are the list of all the outlets. I'm like, really? Because it's out of season. Yeah. My wife called the Orlando one and the New Jersey one. They said, oh yeah, we have 2. One, that's $60. I'm like, really? For the same shirt, wow. $60?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the shirts too. That I keep forgetting what they're called, but it's white here and white in the collar, and the rest is different solid. They have a name for it, but that also kind of says money. So for $60, really, you can buy a shirt at Express. Express gotten expensive, and you won't get that. So as far as the cufflinks themselves, if you can't afford nice cufflinks, try to get, again, cufflinks that look like they're money. I bought these. These are Mont Blanc cufflinks, originally for $350, I think. They're very expensive. I bought them on Craigslist after I lost my first pair at the set of Wizard Wars, and on Craigslist. So I think it was like $200 or something.
Yeah.
So there's ways to save, but when I was at the Mirage, I always liked French cufflinks. I used to buy cheap ones, and I must have had 10 pairs for $30 each. Guess what? Comes down to $300. And I saw the general manager of the Wynn wearing these exact cufflinks. I'm like, if it's good enough for him, I'm going to buy them. So that's as far as the French cufflinks. Same thing with the belts. You know, look at nice belts. This is a Ted Baker belt. You can see all the nice little detailing there. Again, at the outlet, it was probably like $40 or something. You know, after I lost my Mont Blanc belt and Ferragamo belt. Yes, I decided to go easy and buy $40 belts now. So that's about your appearance. As far as tie, no tie. Most corporate events, people don't wear ties anymore. It's kind of like out of fashion, unless you're in. No,
It's okay to say. No, don't even.
Unless you're a host.
Yep. And it's mostly for me. It's mostly for the microphone.
Right.
Anytime that I have to wear a microphone, I wear a tie because it puts it in a good place.
Yep.
You know.
But hosts do
yeah.
wear ties.
Yep.
You look at Ryan Seacrest and all the hosts on TV; they do wear ties. Bar mitzvahs, weddings, they have ties. But a lot of corporate events, they don't wear ties anymore. When I do strolling, I like to blend in more than stand out. I think that makes me feel more cheesy than if I just part of them and I look like them. On stage, it's a different story. You can go as crazy as you want when you're a performer on stage, but in strolling, that's how I like to be. A lot of times, I'll bring a tie with me and see if the people at the event wearing ties. If they don't, I'll take them off. Even if half of them don't wear it, I'll take it off because the boss usually don't wear a tie.
Yeah, and that's a great way to gauge your own appearance.
Yeah.
What does the boss look like?
Exactly. And you know what? A lot of times at the Wynn, people come to me, they think, you know, when they don't know what I do there, they think I'm like the head guy there because I'm not wearing a tie, and a lot of people wearing ties over there, the employees. So it just, you know, it's nice. But if you go to a place where they have a tie or a black tie event, you know, wear a black tie, be like them, you know. But open collar is just fine. Just one button. Don't go crazy. Okay.
So while we're that's great advice.
That's your Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah.
You can go like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
exactly. So while we're on the subject of appearance, how about a young magician? You know, how would you apply some of these things to somebody that, you know, maybe is just starting out, you know, in their teens? Should they also try to dress
Same thing,
as well?
Yeah. You know, people can assume if he's in a country club doing a show, people can assume maybe he's coming from money. You know, I always looked young. I'm 34. People still think I'm like 24. Which is good in show business, but you know, for charging money, sometimes it's not good. But as long as you build yourself the right way, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about the suit, the shirt, the shoes. Let's talk about accessories. Your wallet, first of all. I used to do Yigal Masika's card wallet, which I loved. You been in for and put in the wallet, and it wasn't until I got to the Wynn where I got insulted on a regular basis. I would do the trick, and I don't think it's a cheap-looking wallet. I think it's a good-looking wallet, but I guess wealthy people can tell. I would do the trick, I would finish it, they say, "Oh, that's amazing, you probably should lose your wallet, though." Ha, ha, ha. Laughing. And the first time I was laughing with them, and then people kept saying it. And I said, okay, there goes that trick, you know?
Yeah, they just didn't like the wallet. They don't like the style of the wallet, and they can tell
and
it's...
I prefer, and I know we're artists, and we're magicians, and we want to do good tricks, and we have to think about it, show business, you know? Lose this one, find another one that is better, you know? So I had to give that up, and I saw people had this wallet, Mont Blanc, laying on the table all the time. That was probably the first thing that I got before I got the cufflinks and all that, because that took me time also to get that stuff, you know? It's not easy in the beginning. So I don't know, the gauge I think is like less than $300, like $250 or something, which is expensive, but it's not crazy like the Louis Vuitton and all that. Don't get the Louis Vuitton. The subtle wealthy people do not have those, the $500, $600 wallets. They're a lot more subtle about their thing.
But they do love the Mont Blanc.
Yes, yes, they do.
If you stick that insignia on just about anything.
Exactly. And you can't get fake Mont Blanc. You can get fake Louis Vuitton. You can get fake all those. You can't get, because it's not for the mass, you know? So speaking about not being flashy, your watch is very flashy. But I actually got this one again at an outlet. Originally it was $7,000, and I got it for half price. Still a lot of money. And it gets people's attention. It's not completely crazy with diamonds. I feel like it's a little subtle. Maybe not. I don't know. I like to think. But I've learned my lesson from that as well. I've actually learned that I did not have to spend $3,500 on a stupid watch. That I can get myself a nice Rolex for $100. And guess what? If you wear this with this suit, nobody would think it's fake. They just won't.
Yeah. Right.
And I bought this at a Burger King in New York.
So,
And now I
So
wear
it's quality.
This, now I wear this at the Win. If I have brown colors and stuff, if I have this, I wear this. If I have brown color stuff, I'll wear the gold. Again, I'm not a huge fan of gold. As my taste, it's too flashy. But again, you just you're building your value and your perceived value. I've gotten used to it. Only after I bought it, I realized I went online. I already saw it online, but I realized this original one like this is $30,000.
oh my.
I went exactly at this stuff. And I've had, since I've been to the Win and doing magic, I have maybe a dozen people saying, nice watch. One guy had another Rolex. It wasn't gold like this. And he says, oh, I'd like to switch your Rolex with mine.
yes. No.
I would say to myself,
maybe.
yes, let's switch. But, Rolex is so famous that they get into the very detail, and it looks so real. It's even as heavy as a Rolex. I mean,
this is the nicest knockoff I've ever seen.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's just you can get them online anywhere. So again, if you don't have money, yes, please.
We have a question out here.
Yeah.
Butch?
Briefly, I wanted to go back to your wallet for a second.
Yes, please.
Is that the wallet you use every day, or is that just for performance?
Yeah, I use it every day.
It doesn't wear it down. I mean, the
I've had this one for like 5 years. If you look at a new one, Montblanc is a really good brand, and yeah, it's just I've had it for 5 years. And it kind of looks, it kind of looks better. There's little scratches on it and stuff, but it looks pretty great for, it wears off. Yeah, you're welcome. And I'll be flashing it. A lot of time I'll do magic, I'll pull out money, and I'll just put it on the table, and bring it back. It's funny because at the Win, too, a lot of people have that wallet. I'll ask them to borrow something. They'll pull out their wallet. In the end, as a joke, I'll say, not only that, I have your wallet. And they go, oh, my God. And I said, just kidding, it's mine. But, it goes to show you. So, personally, I don't like to wear watches at all, so I'll take them off for now. This I only wear when I work, by the way, the watches.
And
when I dress casually, I don't have any Montblanc, I guess, except from the wallet. I don't do anything flashy. I'm kind of like a slub. My hair is not done. I don't shave. I don't. I'm really just, I just like to be casual. Some would say that it's better to dress and be like that all the time, and I would agree with them. And everything that I'm telling you right now, I can't expect everybody to do 100%, but the more you do of it, the better it is.
But, we're talking about show business, and it's all about costuming, and the perceived value of what it is. It's just like people putting care into their props and making sure that they look as good as possible. Well, the most important asset that you have as a performer is yourself. So, but I did want to say this. I think you mentioned it, and I just wanted to make it clear that if you don't have a nice watch to wear, don't wear a watch.
Don't wear a watch at all. I haven't had a watch for a long time. I actually don't like to wear them too, but I just wear them, when I perform. Referring to the magnets with the ring, for some reason nobody thinks there are magnets in the watches. The ring, more suspicious. Maybe they know the PK ring. I'm not sure, but yeah. So
they when they see something move and your hands are close to it, they have to think of something.
Yeah,
right? Don't
exactly.
they?
Yeah,
Right?
they do. Here's a nice little detail. Can you get up close to my fingernails? They're very shiny.
Yeah.
I get laughed at by a lot of magicians. I don't know if you can see that. There he goes. That's one thing that wealthy people have on them all the time. New Yorkers, from wherever they are, they do their nails. Steve Wynn always has his nails, and so In the beginning, I used to go get my nails done. I don't do that anymore. Do it at home. I have a nail
yourself?
polish, clip them, and just put nail polish. Doesn't take long at all. And let's put it this way: not all wealthy people have nail polish on, but if you have nail polish on, you're probably wealthy. So if people always compliment me, and I laugh at myself a lot of times when I do magic. Make fun of myself. I'll say, don't let the nail polish distract you. So I kid around with that. I don't take myself too seriously, but it's still out there for them to notice.
Yeah.
And they do notice. Speaking of wallets and doing, just as a side note, don't ever do singles to 20s if you want to be considered like you have money. If you can't do singles to hundreds, whatever you want to call it, Handy 500, Extreme Burn, don't do it at all.
100 or nothing, right?
100 or nothing. And I know it's $600 in your wallet all the time. It's a $600 trick. That's how you have to refer to it. And, I've peeled them before and had to use them. But when you do it, make sure it's this, or, at least go to four singles to 400. Don't ever do singles to 20s. It's a good magic trick. Well, actually, even on an emotional level, it's not good, because if you can do it,
Yeah, why wouldn't you do it all the way
why
anyway?
wouldn't you do
Yeah,
it?
right.
All right, so we talked about our appearance. The very next thing you're going to do once you finished doing magic for them, you're going to give them your business cards.
Yes.
Okay? And your business cards have to look like you have money as well. It cannot be a cheap business card. And I brought some examples
sure.
from the richest people of the world's business cards.
Neat.
And I've learned all the things. So the first thing, and again, this could get expensive too. There are three things that make a business card really expensive: the stock, Mylar, and embossed.
Yep.
Okay, and the Mylar and embossed could get really pricey. Forget about 4 colors. That's the thing of the past. It used to be expensive to get 4 colors. Now they can get it for you for $99 for $5,000. So, So if you can get it, foiled and embossed, at least get a really thick stock. Really important. Let me show you one. Really, there was a little fraud thing there. Peeking. This is Quincy Jones, Vice
You can
President.
tell from a distance.
Yeah. Look at how thick this is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a
It's like
cardboard.
like poster board. Or even thicker than.
So this is Quincy Jones' manager, basically. I will put my hand on this in case you want to call him.
Right.
But you see how simple it is, right? It is very simple. The simplicity is also very important. You have a logo. If that logo was embossed, that would have been, even more expensive. But because this is so ridiculously thick, he doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah? Plus, he's Quincy Jones. But just to see. Yacht Club is all I can make of it. I'm not sure who this is. It's not even English. But again, thick stock. Or here's a note I took to call him for a gig. Thick stock. You can see the logo is with gold Mylar. That costs more to do it, but it also tells people that it's money. Okay?
Yeah.
And look at the
And,
simplicity.
and when you're talking to a printer, sometimes they'll refer to that as foil stamping as well.
Yeah.
So just
Okay.
so they know the terminology.
Yeah. Look at the simplicity. Do not write down on your card, I can do all events, birthday parties. It's obvious you can do it. Simplicity says a lot. And I'll show you my card in a minute, because we're still performers. We're not just regular, people who work in office. So this is Diamond Resorts. He's a big guy. Same thing. Here is his logo. There's Mylar on it, and it's embossed. You can see.
There you go.
There it is.
That's it.
It's embossed. Okay. Mandarin Oriental, same thing. Logo, Mylar, embossed. The president of the Chargers, same thing. Mylar. Guess what? Their logo is orange, I think, but he made it gold for his business card. It's yellow? Okay.
But they made it
But
gold.
this is not yellow. This is gold for his business card. So the gold, if you notice, all of them are really gold. It's all a coincidence, but I didn't plan this. Again, embossed. Here's a little star, gold. All right, this is the win card. So you can get a little creative. They have a different paper. Again, it's embossed, the sign, and it's Mylar. This is a different version of the win. This is their logo, embossed. So basically, this is what it is. Let me just show you one thing before I show you my business card. Here is 2 business cards of the Caesar's Palace. They got a little creative. I personally don't like this, but it does say that it's it's more money. I don't know if you can tell here, but this is a business card of one of the casino hosts. Not very thick. This is the business card of the president of Caesar's Palace. You can hear how thick that is. Yeah. So you have to do that. This is my business card. It is thick. It's the thickest I could get it at this kind of, I'll show you this number, I don't care, and the website. This is the thickest paper I can find. It has a little detail on it. It's made out of a pearl white. So it has a little nice detail on it. It's very simple. It says Shimsh and it says magic and a phone number. The design of the phone number, if you get close, you see there's only 1 dot after the area code. There's no second dot there. That's just something I saw at I think like Armani magazine. All their phone numbers were designed like this. They probably paid a lot of money for their designers to think of that, and I just copied it.
Yeah. Okay. Parentheses.
Inspired by it.
Would you agree that parentheses are out? Like nobody uses around the area code?
Yeah, no, don't use rounded areas. If you want to put 2 dots, that's fine, but just put dots. Don't put the dash either.
Yeah, they have most of these.
Some of them, some of them have it.
Yeah.
And mine is very simple. In the beginning, I didn't want to put my email. I said, let me go to my website, but a lot of people ask for the email. They don't want to go, so I decided to add it. There's my website email. This says worldwide, which means I perform everywhere, because that's a question I get asked all the time. Do you travel? Can you come there? Can you come there? So it just says worldwide on it. It also says money, because it says that you're performing all over the world. Some people, by the way, you can put the plus sign before your phone number, as if international, and that's actually even more subtle way of saying I'm international, which I like as well. And this empty spot I have for taking notes if I have to do a follow-up for a gig, or to do a peek.
The peek,
so,
yeah. See the design there, right?
Yeah. So that's your business card. So you got to get a thick stock, and you saw how simple it is. It just says magic and all that.
Yeah. Now, when you are giving your business card, are you also actively collecting the business cards, exchanging them? Are you trying to?
I don't. Some people do. It's good to do that. Now, look, I'm telling you all these things. This is not my nature to do all those things. I'm a very subtle person. I don't like to push marketing at all. So yeah, they say that if you're socializing, if you give a business card, take one out back from them. That's great. The way I do it is, when I'm done to do a close-up set, I don't wait for them to ask for a business card. I give them my business card right away. And I'll say a quick joke, because I'm embarrassed that I'm giving them my business card. But I'll just say a quick joke. If you have any weird charges on your credit card or any big events, just give me a call there.
Yeah.
Okay. And I noticed that I say if you have any big events.
The weird charges on the credit card, is that because you've worked with their card?
I just did their credit card. Yeah. If I just took their watch, I'll just say if we're missing anything or if you have any big events, I learned that from a guy by the name of Brian Gillis. He's a high-end magician over in Los Angeles, and he's the only one who used to give business cards at the Magic Castle. Nobody ever gives away. He gives out to everybody. And his line is actually, he says, if you have any parties you want to spend a lot of money on, give me a call. He bluntly says it. I give him props and respect. But look, he was the one who performs for all the stars and all the big. He tells you right to your face.
And he rocks his show out. He does such a great show.
Of course. Yeah. So I try to do it my way, a little more subtle. If you have any big events, so it implies that you need a lot of money for it. Yeah. But that's that. So you have your appearance, you have your business cards, and then they're going to go on your website.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that your website, these are the 3 main things. They see you, they fill your business card.
That looks like we've got yours up right now if you want to talk about it.
Oh boy, don't go to mine first. I was going to build up to that.
Let's build up to it. Let's look at some other things.
Here are some websites that I really like. And if you notice, I look how certain people act, and I try to grab details from there and there. And business cards, same thing goes to websites. Before I build my website, I look to a lot of websites that I like, that I know are worth a lot of money, and basically took ideas from there. So this one is Radical Media. It's a great company, but I want you to see how it's very simple. It's very easy, it's big. That's one. I also looked at the way their video looked like. Look how that looks. Wouldn't that be great if that's your strolling video, stage video, this video, that video. I mean, look at all those little subtle things that they have, how big the video is, how that is, how it plays. You can look at the editing, all of that. Here's another one that I like, which is called lamodels.com. I just looked through a lot of website. Stop, pop-up, keep popping up. I don't know why. All right, so this is LA Models. I guess it's not online.
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
When you're handing out your business card, do you give it to everyone at the table or just one person? Or
I give it to the person I did the magic for, and maybe one more person. If the idea is that they don't know that that they can book you sometimes.
Looks
and
like
they
we
don't
have
think
LA
about
Models
it.
up here, so we
Oh,
can get
okay,
it
cool.
on our system and put it
Yeah.
up. So yeah,
So this is the way they present their pictures.
yeah.
Can you go to my website for a second? And go to photos. I am shameless.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
if it's good enough for LA Models, it's good enough for me. All right? All right, get that out of there. All right, so here are some, and there's a lot of bad magic websites that seem cheap. And you know what? Flash is not even going anymore. People don't do Flash anymore because of phones and all that. Make sure your website does work with phones as well when you get your web designer or if you do it yourself. Because a lot of people get your business card. They go, even though they just saw you, they'll go to your website right away. So make sure it does work. So this is my website. I don't know if it will work, or not. But again, you can watch me on Wizard Wars every Tuesday. This is how I had the videos. It was important when you're a magician to have your videos right on the front page. I don't like to have them play right away for people for some reason. I think like it's forcing them a little bit. But the first thing they want to do, they want to go to your website, they want to see what you do. If they, so, and you want to build yourself as doing, okay, if you did the Ellen show and all that stuff, it's great to put it up right on there. And that right away tells people, wow. I've had people referred to me. They've been referred to me. Sorry, right away. They talked to me on the phone, and I just told them about the show and everything. And then they said, "Do you have a website where we can see?" I gave them my website. They called back and said, "Oh, you're modest. We didn't know all that stuff because I am a very, subtle person. But just from them seeing all these appearances, it builds it up. Okay." We'll talk about in a minute too. What if you haven't done all these appearances and all that? What do you do and how do you make it? So we'll talk about that. Here are some other magicians that I love their website. Justin Willman. This is the new trend right now is the parallax. Everybody's doing it. Apple, Samsung. Look at the simplicity.
Yeah.
Look at how clean lines they are. Unbelievable. If you have an agency that books you, they'll automatically raise your price. So, yeah, all that stuff. Also, Justin Flum. Really love his website. Same parallax thing, if you notice. It's just a new trend, and I've been working on it for a few months too, and my web guy is going to get that done on my website as well. But you can see all the simplicity and all that stuff. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's what's important on your website. Let me show you also my contact on my page. Again, very simple. Some of them like to, it's gone. Some people like to click on the email and have it email right away, but sometimes it sends them to a different part of your computer that you're not really using. So I had both. I had this, and on the left side you can see that, I had that,
so
and
you
then
can
on the
use that
left
one.
side you can also see that they can just fill in a message. And
Sure.
some people email me like that, some people email me like that. So, and again, there's the world tour map and the dots of all the places I performed. And
Yeah, it's a lot more graphic than it is a lot of words. There's not as much text on it, but it says the same thing. It sends the message more visually.
Exactly.
Whether somebody speaks your language or not, they're able to know what it's about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you have a question? Did Dave, do we have a microphone for him? Yeah.
We're talking about appearance. What about the car you drive? I mean, if I show up in my Scion XB to one of these events, they're probably not going to let me in.
Yeah.
Can you give me an excuse to tell my wife to go out and buy a new car?
Yeah. First of all, if you want to talk finances, don't buy a car with payments. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Save your money, then buy cash. You lose a lot of money doing that. First of all, it depends where you live too. At the Wynn in Las Vegas, nobody really sees your car. You park in the garage and nobody sees your car. In LA, I remember I drove a beat up car in LA for a long time. I bought a car and the door of the driver was dent. So, and when you go to the Magic Castle, that's the door people see. Usually the valet is on the other side, but the Magic Castle, that's where it is. And for 5 years, I felt like this side of this side of me is no good. But if you're going for a gig when you want to impress people, you're gonna have to park somewhere else, or self-park or something. Don't let them see it. Yeah, I mean, if it's that important, you want to get a rental car, then get a rental car. Yeah. So once you start doing strolling magic, though, in other cities and stuff, we'll talk about that, and how to get them to pay all that money, because this is the next section. We're going to talk about how to actually negotiate on the phone and how much to charge and all that. They're paying for it, so you can rent whatever car you want and you drive there in their car. So, and if you have to add $20 to get the Cadillac, then add $20 to get the Cadillac and all that. So, yeah.
Is now a good time to talk about if somebody doesn't have the content for their website?
Yes,
if they
it's a
don't,
perfect time.
Yeah, if they don't have a big appearance
Yes.
or
I named
major
it
credits.
Verbal Upsale.
Okay.
First things first. Well, we'll skip that, but I'll get to that. It is okay to lie in marketing.
Really?
Yes.
Nobody in marketing
is
ever
very
lies. No,
But
no advertiser or marketer has ever told us a partial truth.
some people just have a problem with it, I say if it doesn't get you in trouble, if you don't get caught lying, you can say whatever you want. Okay? Take Red Hot Chili Peppers. When they were born in California, and they had a hard time. This was pre-internet, right? So they just came to agents and told them that they're a huge success in Europe. They did. They were like, "Whoa, we're very, very famous. We're moving to America," and they finally listened to them, and they are a good band, and that helped them.
Yeah.
And they made it. Of course, in today you can't lie like that, because they'll Google them and say, "Who? No, you're nobody." So it's okay to lie. If you look at my website again, there's all the logos of all the places that I've performed for. Or even you can stick around in the contact page. There's dots and all the places that I've performed for at. I'm fortunate enough to travel a lot, but I've still made up about 30% of it. I basically, I added, here's the logos.
Yeah.
I've also, again, fortunate enough to perform for about 80% of those logos. But I basically Googled Fortune 500 logos and dragged them and sent them to my web guy and said, arrange them in a way where it looks good. It's okay.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get I put Coca-Cola there before I performed for Coca-Cola, and they called me and they said, "Oh, you're probably performing in one of our other branches or something." I said, "Yeah."
Yep. Sure did. Yeah.
You can pull Walmart, you can put Bank of America. I've done in LA a gig for Bank of America for $500. It was a branched bank,
Yep.
but I performed there. When I first got to LA, I was already performing at the Castle before I was even 21. I wasn't really. But when I called agents and I said, "Are you performing in the Castle?" "Yes." "Are you a member?" "Yes." "And I'm performing there as well." And I performed in Las Vegas, the Tropicana. Who knows? Nobody knows. So it sounds funny, but it is true. You can do it. And it means nothing. It's just, it builds in people's minds as if you're something bigger. Because somebody can see a magic trick, the credit card. They say the most amazing thing they've ever seen. And they'll call you, and they're not going to want to pay that much. But if they think, "Oh my God, he's been on Wizard Wars and America's Got Talent and this and that," your price goes up right away. It goes up right away. When I was on the Ellen show, I didn't get any calls from it for bookings. But when I put it on my website and I had people recommend me, As soon as they saw it, they're like, oh my God, we have to get him. Oh, I've seen you on Ellen. And no, you haven't. You clicked on the website and you've seen that. And I get to events and people said, oh, I usually don't get starstruck. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, it took me a minute to realize she probably went to my website, saw it, and she thinks I'm a star in her mind. So here's an easy one that all of you guys can do. I was on America's Got Talent. Nobody knows. There were so many magicians on America's Got Talent. You can be bold and put that logo on your website. Again, unless, you can get caught, do it.
And then what? And then what happens?
It's just the fact that you're going to put featured on America's Got Talent, or go as far as lying last magician on America's Got Talent, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
You can say it, and once people see it on your website,
honestly,
they go,
I'll tell you
wow.
what I like about what you've done there with just having the company logos up there. You're not actually saying.
I didn't say that,
you're
actually.
not
You're
saying
right.
that you perform for them.
I didn't even say it.
So if you've got a website and you just put the America's Got Talent logo on it, and
Yeah.
there you go. It's
Exactly.
by implication.
Yeah. And you know what? It becomes truth.
Yeah.
It becomes truth. So many stories, the celebrities I have listed, if you read the thing there. Again, 80% I performed for, 20% I just thought would sound cool. Robert De Niro, never met him. It's on the website. Now, it's funny because when I did the Kris Jenner show, they looked at my website, and they saw Robert De Niro and this and that, so they said it. He's performed for Robert De Niro, and I hear it for the first time when I'm backstage.
Like, what?
I'm like, well, that just became the truth.
Yeah. Right?
You think Robert De Niro will
He's
even
not gonna remember.
He's not going to remember. How many magicians probably performed for him? He lives in New York and this and that. Don't you remember? Oh, yeah. He'll just not to insult you. So it's okay. And America's Got Talent is a good one because I can't tell you how many people I was embarrassed in the beginning to say I was an America's Got Talent kid. To me, it's like a competition show. Anybody can be on it. You don't know how well I did or anything. So I wouldn't say it. But then people found out and they said, oh, I didn't realize you were on America's Got Talent. Oh, my God. And how many times probably people tell you, oh, you should go on America's Got Talent. And I tell them I have. And they're like, they don't know. Even at the Win, the president of the Win one time told me, oh, I didn't realize you were on America's Got Talent. Really? You're impressed by that? Yeah. So from tomorrow, starting tomorrow, it should be on all your websites. You're all been on America's Got Talent. All right? So, yeah. It's okay to lie.
Yes. And now what about video? If somebody has, like if they have any kind of promo video or something for their site, what kinds of recommendations do you have for the
Again,
type
everything,
of video?
even if you don't have on television and this and that, you can have the logos in the beginning, appeared on CNN, this and that. People will believe it. Just make sure that whatever footage you do have, if you're going to get footage of you doing strolling magic, look at good videos online, see what makes a good video, the reactions, hence, Devin Blaine started this whole thing, just focus on the reactions. They want to see good magic.
And I would just interject, there's no excuse for any kind of low resolution anymore.
And just make sure everybody at the party looks rich. Even if you do something for free, get a footage. Can you go to my videos on my website for a second? This is a video I had before I had any appearance on any TV appearances, and it sold a lot. So if you go to one more to the right, actual event, close-up magic actual event. If you click on that, happened to have a celebrity there, which was great. John Favorito, or name is
Favreau.
Favreau, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But click on it just so you see 10, 20 seconds. I've edited this on iMovie 2006 probably. But look at their reactions. You get to see the magic. I'm really concentrating. And reactions. I mean, the guy who filmed it did very well. But if you notice too, this was back then when I didn't have nice suits and nice ties. But everybody in the party looked like they have money. And this was done actually for a bar mitzvah, the owner of 7 Jeans, and this was at Beverly Hills Hilton. So you can cut that off.
Yep.
So just try the video that you get, make sure that it looks like you're doing a high-end event. It doesn't look like it's a cheap wedding. Even if people are impressed, if you're trying to sell yourself, make sure that the video that you have looks like it's in the right environment. So a part of upselling yourself is calling yourself a mentalist or an illusionist rather than a magician.
Right.
And first of all, a lot of magicians laugh about me because, oh, I'm not a magician. And I love the word magician. And for a long time, I was fighting it as well. And it took a few experiences to finally click in and say, you know what? it's so weird for me still to call myself I'm an illusionist, because not, I'm a magician and I do tricks, but for branding's sake, you do magic or illusions, and you're an illusionist. It gets confusing. So here's the first time where it clicked to me. Event planners in New York booked me to do close-up magic and high-end bar mitzvahs, and at the time were paying me anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500. And I would get to the event, and people would say, "Oh, you're the mentalist," and I look at them and go, "Huh?" They goes, "Yeah, you heard about you," and I would still do magic, and they'll still be impressed, and it'll still be great. I mean, I do think of a card and floating credit card. I guess that could be a mentalism. I bend spoons and quarters and stuff. So, but I'm not doing all mentalism. But I always thought, that's funny. Event planners in New York sells me as mentalist. But there's a reason why they're doing that, and I didn't listen to that. And I've had people tell me, "I don't want to insult you and call you a magician. What do you call yourself?" And at that time I would say, "Yeah, I'm a magician, it's fine." No, but he's more than a magician. And it took all that stuff to click to me until when it really burned me, I was like, okay, I have to change it. When Steve Wynn had me for like 5 years, and Steve Wynn loves magic, he would have different magicians come perform there, not just myself. He had a magician perform on his boat in Monte Carlo, and he would bring him there to do some close-up magic, and we would jam and have fun. But one time he booked somebody, and somebody, not me, told him, "Oh, why don't you get Shimsh to do that? He's an amazing magician." He said, "No, he's not a magician. He's a mentalist." I was like, "What?" What? So that's what I was like, okay, if Steve Wynn has been around, knowing magic, everything, I've done think of a card, bending quarters, think of your first girlfriend, all that for him, PK touches, and, if he says something like that, then I realized, okay. So I have a mentalist show and I have an illusion show. So I'm both. And here's the final argument for that. You can book a magician at your kid's birthday party, but you cannot book a mentalist or an illusionist for your kid's birthday party. And for those people who the word magician comes to their mind, they think kids' parties and not David Copperfield. Some would think David Copperfield and go, "Oh, wow, you're a magician. That's great." That's probably more than 50% of the people. But it's for those people who, when you say magician, think, can you come to my kid's birthday party? And ever since I called myself an illusionist, and I'm just talking the last year, that's why my business card still says magic, and I printed 5,000 of those. But guess what? I bought ShimshiIllusions.com, not Shimshi Magic, and my next card will say illusionist.
Yeah, but it makes perfect sense to me. And when I first heard that you were going to say this, that you were going to suggest this to people, I had to work against my prejudice toward not saying illusionist or mentalist. But here's the reason why I agree with you. There's the movie, The Illusionist, has come out. The television show, The Mentalist, has come out. Now it's part of the vernacular. Now it's part of regular, everyday. People know exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about that. And we're talking about television and movies, which automatically raises you out of the birthday party market right away. So I absolutely
Exactly. I didn't
agree.
even think about that, but that's true. Yeah. It's very true.
Makes sense.
So, and you know what? When I plan, if my goal finally to be where I want to be, and I'm well known, and everything falls into place, I will go back to call myself a magician, because then at that point I don't care about perceived value. People are paying $100 to come see my show. They don't have to. Then I would like to protect the word magician at that point. I want to bring back magician to high end, because David Copperfield is a magician, and so. But until then, when I want to upsell myself, I'm an illusionist and a mentalist.
Right.
That's how it works in my mind.
Is now maybe a good time to take a break to see a magic trick, as opposed to us, we can come back in and talk
That
more
is a
about
great
this kind of
time.
stuff. But
That is a great
we
time.
Want to spice it up a little bit and show
Sure,
some magic?
sure. Let me just make sure I don't skip
Sure.
any of this part right here. Take pictures with celebrities. That increases your value. I'm very, very shy. I've performed for so many celebrities. I'm shy to ask them to take pictures. Be ruthless. Take the pictures. Put on your website. For some people, it's impressive for them. Yeah. So that's that. Let's learn the next illusion. Awesome. So actually, this is the Jewish part of the where I get to borrow somebody's credit card. Ooh. By the way, you can't laugh unless you're Jewish. No, but can I borrow your credit card? Do you mind? Who is this lovely lady sitting next to you? You don't know? You don't know either? What is your name?
Victoria.
Victoria. Are you a magician?
I'm an enthusiast.
Enthusiast. That's good. Could you come over here with his
You
credit
take
card?
that.
Yes? Yes, you can use it. All right. You can stand right over here. All right. Do you want to see something that is going to completely freak you out? All right. Write down this number. 37. I'm kidding. Actually, it's a very special illusion. You will see it in the end of the month, if you will. Just kidding. Here we go. Watch. I can't use any magnets, otherwise the car would be demagnetized, so no magnets. I wouldn't do that. It's actually kind of hard to do with this card because it's maxed, but... Can you wiggle your finger above it? Oh. Can you open your left hand for me, the other left? That's the one, yeah? With the other hand, wiggle your finger. Keep going, don't stop. You can do it. Gets better, watch. Ready? Let me just lower this. We'll try, here we go. Now, the freaky part is that you can do it too. Hold it right over here.
Okay.
On 3, you're going to toss it to my hand. It's going to fly back to you. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Just kidding, no. Sorry about that. It doesn't work. It's just my hobby to watch people try. I'll show you how it works, though. Okay. Technically, you have to spin it very, very fast. If you spin it fast enough, it actually creates vacuum and it sucks its way up. Science, yeah. Now, I'm not going to insult your intelligence. Obviously, the human hand can't throw that fast. But if we could, it would look something like this. It's all in the wrist, yeah? This is actually my favorite part. This part is impossible. Can you just step back a little bit? Watch your wire behind you. That's good. Watch. Ready? Last time. Here we go. Watch. It's a solid hoop, yeah? And it's revolving credits. You have more money there now. And this will be the point where I say, thank you very much. This is my card. If you have any big events or any weird charges on your credit card, just give me a call there, okay? And usually they laugh if they haven't heard it before.
Very cool. Did you want to borrow that again just to explain?
I'll use my
You got your
room
own?
key
Okay.
or something.
Yeah, cool.
My fabulous Hilton Garden Inn room key. That's what happens when you lecture for magicians.
Hey, it's Columbus. That's
It is.
about
It's
the
Columbus.
best you're going to
I
get.
didn't find the Ritz here or anything like that. So, surprise, surprise, this is done also with the invisible thread, same hookup, the Leclerc hookup. I do everything with the Leclerc hookup. PK touches, this, that. This just gives you more of a range. Again, there's a piece of tape. Comes over here. Now, because I took it off and put it on so many times, it got a little loose. And throughout the whole time, I almost felt like it's about to fall out of my ear. Not the thread to break, but the piece of tape. So I probably did it a little awkward. I was very careful with my ear. But let me put a fresh piece of tape on it so you can see. Yeah, it was almost falling off the whole time. So it's the same hookup. I will show you with the other thread first, and then we'll do it again in real time with this, so you see what it looks like again. All right. By the way, I felt like it was about to drop, and usually, if I do strolling, I don't have any backups, but if I do shows, I'll have backups different places. But Dan broke all the backups before we started performing.
All of the backups. You had one.
Yeah. All right. All right, so here's the thread. Let me again take off my jacket. Thank you, sir. All right. So this is the thread. Same hookup right over here. By the way, I've experimented before with not having it hanging, attached to the belt, just kind of hanging like this behind me. That way it can't run into anything, and then when the time is right, I just put my hands next to my ears if I'm concentrating or anything. I'll just grab it a little bit over here, and then as I come forward and keep talking and gesturing, slowly pulls up to my hand. And then I could just clip it with my thumb between the nail and the thumb right there. Yeah? Cool. So, start the same way. Can I borrow a credit card? You grab it, have it ready in your thumb. When you borrow it from them, you can tell a joke, but you have to put it in the middle. Now, sometimes you have credit cards when this can show very easily or not. If you see him fiddling through credit cards, the credit card that he gave me, the American Express, are great for it. They have that logo in the middle, and it makes it completely obscure. And you say, oh, let me have the American Express. So you can even ask for American Express. Most of them have the logo, some of them don't. Okay. If you fall into really, really rich people, they have the titanium American Express, which is actually made out of titanium, and it's heavy, and you cannot do it with that. So, unfortunately, it happens every day at the Wynn. I only saw it one time before I started working at the Wynn, and then, of course, the Wynn, it's like every table has it. So I would say, oh, let me have your ID as well. I do the lifting with that card, and then move into the spinning with the other one. So I build this routine in a very specific way. You've seen a lot of people do this. If you've been to Vegas, you've seen the magic shop do it like it's a little toy, tossing it around. And I really wanted to build this routine to be really amazing. And this is how my thought process went around it. I thought if I were to just make it move first before it spins, it'll set him up. And I couldn't be more right, because I've experimented both ways. And again, going into the Darwin Ortiz Designer Miracle book, he talks about the most important thing about in magic is how lay people think, how their brain works. And I've eliminated all the possibilities with each move here. So move number one, you have to bring the thread into your mouth. You do not want to do this or this, because it just looks like you're in, going like, it just looks weird. And I've seen people do that. This got inspired by Kevin James' floating rose. At the time, I didn't even know how he was doing it, so that's why I kind of developed my method, and it's different than his. But you can see the thread, how it goes. There's two ways. One, I can talk while I'm doing this, and it basically just falls in my mouth. At that point, I'll stop talking and grab it a little deeper with my tongue. Okay. The other way, which I usually do, is I put it down right here. The thread goes to here. And as I go on the card and gesture, I will actually bring it up. I'll get closer to my mouth. Get closer to my mouth. There we go. Good. As you can see, what happens is from this position, it gets fed into my mouth just by doing this. Now wait until it's there, until I grab it with the tongue. And now all you have to do is move your tongue. I'll exaggerate it. And the card will move. Okay? You just have to practice a little bit so it doesn't show. When you do it enough, you can smile. You can't really talk while you do it, but you can smile and it'll still be there. So move number one is just going up and down. This one, I don't really use the tongue. I just kind of rise up a little bit as I lower this hand, and it kind of goes up. And right after I do this is what I do. I let the thread become loose, so I can now wave my hand over it. Like this, I couldn't, because it'll move. So basically, I let it loose, and I wave my hand over it. as I'm doing this, I say I can't use any magnets. If I will, the card will be demagnetized. I always see people look down at the card as it moves, and I realize, okay, they think there's something underneath, which led me to lift the card and show there's nothing there. Now, in case I don't want to show that, just by doing this, I don't really show that side, but it looks like I am. I show my hand and do that. So I gesture to show there's no threads, but I don't say it. I say there is no magnet. So this is how it goes. Can't use any magnets because if I will, the card will be demagnetized, right? I wouldn't do that. So just by saying that, people don't think you have any magnets. Which, even though you don't use magnets, you still don't want them to think that you're using magnets. Because it doesn't matter if they know how you did it or they think of a different method. You want to eliminate all the possible ways so, eventually they'll think, oh my God, how the hell did he do it? It's not success if they think that you used a plant even though you didn't. It's failure. You have to prove there's no plant if you're not using a plant. Yeah, same thing goes to this. So if they think it's magnets, and that's what most people think, they think I have a belt of magnet around me. They don't even know that it's not really going to work, but that's what they think, so I say it. So after the first move, can't use any magnets. If I will, it'll demagnetize your card. I'm going to start making it dance. And I build it up. I start a little bit. I like to tell that joke. It's hard to do with this card because it's maxed. Gets a good laugh. And then I start wiggling as I'm doing this with the mouth. Now they think it's here, then I go to the bottom. If they think somehow I make a move here. Then I let people do it in their hand. To do it with their finger over here. Which is better to let them do with their hand first and only then move it to their hand because it builds it up even more. Because first it's like, okay, he doesn't control it, but people still think, numerous of times, you'll be surprised, people think that I have some kind of special muscles that can move the card. I swear to God, people say it all the time. And they'll say it right after I do it for her. And she'll do it, she'll go crazy. And they'll say, oh my God, I thought you had some kind of thing, but okay, it's with that. And I know what you think, and that's how it builds it. So by that point, when they think you don't have you don't have magnet or wires or anything like that, she did it in her hand, which also proves, it's not attached. Now you start spinning it, okay? Can you come over here for a second, one more time? Just wanted to go over this part before I start spinning it. Open the other hand. And the only reason it's the other hand is because if the audience is there, I feel like it kind of blocks it. This is more open to it. That's theater. So when I put it on, I tell her to try. Usually I let her get it right away, but my jacket was left open. So I wanted to find a reason to close it because I couldn't do it with one hand earlier. So I just tell her to keep going while I close the jacket because I knew the spinning part, the jacket will interrupt it. So I had to close it now. A little bit lower. So you aim her hand to the point when you feel the tension. Yeah, if it's too high, you have to go like this, and then it'll be too diagonal. You want it to be up like this. So you just show them where to put the hand. Show them where to put the hand. And then you just look at her and do it. And some people will even go like this, and you have to pay attention to that. And if you just do that, they can't see anything. And if you go like this, now sometimes people do it far. I want to prove there's nothing hooked up, so I'll actually tell them to do it closer. And as they get closer, I'll just start to do it with the tongue as they do it. Yeah. Notice that I always either touch them or look at them because you always want the magic to come from you. It becomes more and more impressive when you believe the magic. So, again, out over here. And as soon as you snap your fingers, they just stop doing it. It also stops, and they realize, oh, it stopped. I have to stop doing it. So that works. And then I do this. Which, when I first did that part, when I was creating this, I thought, does it imply that there are strings because it just kind of drags? But for some reason, it's not. And it just sets people's minds to say, oh, and they go, what just happened? And then you do the spinning. Okay? Thank you. All right, so then you do the spinning, and I say it gets better. It's a little cocky, but it does get better. So I do this, and it's funny because people, when they see me do it twice, they'll say that line to other people. When I do this, they go, "Oh my God!" It's, wait, it gets better. Show him. So it's amazing, but people repeat what you tell them. So, all right, it's just in the middle. When you're about to do the spinning, here is the most important thing: not to break the thread. You want to keep tension on it before you start spinning. If it's loose, if the thread is loose before you start spinning, it'll land, and there is compound weight that adds to it that just makes the thread break. So you have to feel the tension in your ear. And that's why I said not to get one with elastic, because you want to feel, it could be a little bit stretchy, it's okay, but you want to feel the tension before that moment that it breaks. So that's number one, and you want to spin it at that point. You don't want to go up or down or like this. You want to spin it at that point where it's about to break, basically. You just feel the tension. And then you just spin it. You do not spin it away from you, because that also makes it go away and could break. You try to spin it right where you are. So if you zoom out a little bit, I just want to show something with the body. So if I spin it, and it does go a little bit to there, I can, with my body, also go with it. And then I immediately catch it right over here. Okay? So I feel the tension, spin it in the same spot, and do this. Okay, now it runs from here to here. Okay, which reminds me, second reason why the thread breaks a lot is because when it spins a lot, it creates knot within itself. I've noticed in the beginning that I would do it the first few times, it wouldn't break, and then it would start breaking, and I didn't understand why. And it's because it keeps getting tangled up within itself, and then when there's a knot there, that knot will break the thread. So every time after I finish doing the routine, I will let it go, let it spin around itself, then attach it to my bell. If I forgot to do it in the middle of the routine while she's throwing it, I'll let it go. And as she's throwing it, the distraction, I'll grab it. But that's important to remember, to keep getting it back to the same place. And I would run my fingers through it, and you could feel if there's knots or not. Sometimes a knot will be created. I'll have to go and change it. If I'll take the risk and try to do it with it, it will break. So this is a very important tip for you not to break your threads. So after you do the first one, tension, throw it here, I do it here, and I do that. One of the reasons that makes this illusion very strong is that it looks like you can almost really do it. When you see magicians do it in a magic shop, and we'll talk about that problem as well, they're just kind of do it like this, and they do this move when it goes like this, which I actually like. It looks cool, but it doesn't look like you can really do it. When I do it, a lot of times people grab it, and they try to spin it, and they try to do it, and I know that I've succeeded. I've eliminated all the possible ways. They think, wait a second, maybe it's really possible to do it. So this routine is constructed in a way that it looks like you can really spin it. That's what's so good about it, because it's spinning. It's not just a ball that is floating. It really looks real. So the first move is very short. I don't let it go in the air too long. First move is this. I keep it here, and all I have to do is kind of let it release from the thread, and it kind of comes to the other hand. So you don't do a lot of movement. And notice that I like to pretend that something is sending it from here, and I would look at that hand in the end as well, as if something is there. And I can't tell you, for some of you it might seem silly how much I believe when I do magic. I've experimented a lot in the restaurants, and for like a full hour I would do it with without the preparation, or with no energy, without believing, just tossing it. It's amazing how the same trick gets such a different reaction. Literally, it will go from like, oh my God, have you seen that? You have to show it, and it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen, to like, oh, that's cute, very nice, thank you. Seriously, I've really experimented with not just this trick, unfortunately. I've experimented with everything, just doing it. I've experimented doing it shy, like I'm shy and trying to do magic and see how people react. So when you really believe in the magic and doing this and have the tension and then relax, it really makes it. For some reason, it just hits people on a real level. So after the first move, And that's why I only do 4 moves as well. After the first move, I'm going to let her try. It does 2 things. It's a nice, funny moment, relaxation there because she can't do it. But it also proves again that nothing is attached to it. So when I'm about to give it to her, I just did the first move. As I talked to her, I said, you can do it too. And this is how I hold it to grab the wax off with one hand. I basically put my pinky right over here, and it just allows me to get a good grip on it. Yeah? So while I talk to her, I just say, you can do it as well. I've unhooked it, let her grab it. She takes it, she spins it, and it falls down. And that's funny. If you'll stay there long enough, they will pick it up for you. But with ladies, I usually don't like to let them do that. So I'll go pick it up. But if it's a man, a lot of times I'll just look at it and they'll pick it up if I don't want to bend. Okay? Not because I'm lazy, but because I don't think it looks good on me doing that. That's all. Second thing I'm going to do, I want to give that thought of some kind of a science explanation that if you spin it really fast, a helicopter's propeller creates vacuum and it sucks its way up. And then another thing important in magic is to be real. And I say, obviously, your hand can't throw that fast, but if we could, it would look like this. And then I do the next move, which is just this. Grab it here, and I let it go up. Basically, all you do is once it's here, you just have to raise or move your hand forward and raise it a little bit, and it comes to you. Now, you can just put it forward and it'll come to you. But I wanted to really visualize it, that it goes from here to there. So what happens when it's spinning and I do this, I go up. And even after I catch it, I kind of do this, as if it was continuing to go up. And then they're really impressed here. And whatever the line is, maybe that was possible, but this is impossible. I'll do around the body. And for this one, it's like the first one. You spin it and get it there. But then instead of just doing that, you're going to make it go all the way around. Let me let this release a little bit. Good. So you go from here to there. And all it does, it looks really impossible, even if you know how it works. All it does is that it goes from here through your neck and to here. So it's a little shorter now. And from here, you just do this. Now, you want to try as little as possible to do this with your head. And that takes time and to understand the momentum of this. If you'll give it a good push with this and just figure out the momentum, it'll just go over like this. So 1. I don't know why I do that. That's instinct. But yeah, this thread is not ultimate because it's just a sewing thread. It works better with the real invisible thread. So from that point on, all you want to do is, I like to interlock my fingers. And sometimes I will say it. I'll do it one last time because they really want to applaud here. And I stop them, because let them build. And then I say, wait, one last time. I said I'm going to create a solid hoop. Sometimes I say that. And then I do this. And what happens here is, this is the most deceptive part, I think. You spin it. You let it hang right here from your thumb. And then you interlock your fingers. And all it does now is it comes out of the loop. And from the thumb, I'm going to move it to this part of the hand, to here. And then let it toss it like this. Okay, and again, once it's spinning, you have better momentum. So, 1, and sometimes I'll even do another spin. And again, it stops quicker here because it's a regular sewing thread. So I wanted to show it to you with a regular invisible thread. But before we do that, do you know if there's any questions as far as this?
Let's see if anything's come in on the feed here.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll just double check.
Do you guys have any questions by any chance?
They're asking about what if the thread breaks when it's in your mouth? Has it ever happened to you? What if someone said that they saw the thread attached to it. That kind of stuff. Have you ever had people see you see the thread, or
I've had people see the thread, not
or-
a lot at all.
yeah,
Like,
or especially since you work in Las Vegas, have they ever said, "Oh, I saw that at the magic shop," or "I bought that at the magic shop"?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a big, I was contemplating a lot, before, especially when I got the gig at the Mirage, if I should do it or not. Because you can see it in the magic shops in Las Vegas. So I started doing it, and I was starting to leave it out. But people will keep asking me to do it again. And at the Mirage, only about once a week, people would say, maybe twice a week, people would say that I would see it, and I would crunch every time to do it. I was like, ugh. But talking about business, I cannot tell you how many times I got phone calls, people saying, "Oh my God, you took my credit card and you made it float around my body." Of course, people remember it wrong too. Can you do that at our event, and we want to do this? So I just had to weigh everything off and say, this gives me a lot of business. I'm going to have to do this. So I decided to do it.
Yeah.
Now I can see if somebody recognizes it when I start doing it. First of all, they don't figure it out when I do this, because it's not the same. As soon as I start spinning it, I see in their eyes, and then they'll go whisper something in somebody else's ear. So I know they know. They're usually polite. At that point, I will be brave and blunt and say, now you might have seen it in magic shops or something. They're using threads. I'm not going to use any threads, nothing up the ears or anything like that. I'm going to, and I only say it because I know once I leave, that guy's going to tell everybody how it works.
Right.
So I'm going to say it. To prove it, I'm going to throw it around the body. And I do this, and I say, to prove it again, I'll create a
Make the
solid hoop. No way a thread could go in there. And boom.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see a confusing look on this guy's face. Sometimes he'll stick to his own and say, no, even though it could still work. He can get in and
But the
argue
other
with
people
them.
but they won't believe
Yeah,
it.
they won't believe it. It'll be 10 against 1.
Yeah.
And so that's what it is. But in the end of the day, it brought me more business that it has embarrassed me.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of times now that I have so many other things that I do that I won't do this. But this is so good as an ending. It has so many jokes, so many climaxes in it. You can do it when people don't pay attention. They'll immediately pay attention. There's always these people who keep texting while they're when you're doing magic. When you do this, people will stop them and say, you have to see this. And when there's loud music, when your voice is gone, you can do this completely silent all the way through. Even when people are talking, all the jokes. So that's why it's so golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautifully routined. I can't wait
Yeah.
to see it again with the
Thank
invisible
you.
thread. Yeah.
And then as far as the other question is, haven't broken before? Yes, I have broken before. The good news is that people don't know what you're about to do, just like any other trick.
Yeah. We do have a question in
Just
the
do
audience.
not
Can we get
get-
a microphone over to Butch there? So
Do not
he's got
get
it.
nervous and just move on to the next trick. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
I think you did that for Kris Jenner, right?
I did.
And the funny thing about that was she was actually spooked.
She was.
She was really spooked. Do you say anything to somebody about that? Or do you just let them?
When they're really spooked?
Yeah. Does that bother you?
It doesn't happen a lot. It happens rarely. I did get one phone call. Somebody said, how do I learn to do all that stuff? I said, well, there's books. No, I'm talking about black magic. How do I know how to do black magic? They thought it's real magic, black magic. No, I don't I mean, if they ask me if it's like, is it powers or this? I say, no, it's an illusion. So, yeah, but if they get spooked, great. Go talk about it and tell everybody. Yeah. So, no, it's a really, really, really strong effect, and it's worth the fact that maybe somebody have seen it. So, here are all the moves with the invisible thread. Okay? All right. So, start off, this is my regular motion because I believe that I'm doing it with static, so this is how I go. Another thing, notice that I start like this and then I move my hand. That's also like, is something attached? No, it's not. Sometimes I'll do this. Let them wiggle. Open their hand. And sometimes they'll stop and do it. Just do it with them, and they'll be super impressed. In their hand. The person you bring on you to do it, make sure they're relaxed and not overly jumpy. Because some people, first of all, will get spooked at that point. As soon as it moves, they'll throw it and then breaks. And then you're like, all right, thank you. Let me show you the next one. Sometimes they'll want to grab it from you, so be ready for those. And with time, you'll kind of feel those kind of people. So choose a person that you think is not going to move too much, and you just place it in their hand. And then you just let the thread go out. You notice there's almost no movement. And then they try it, and then you throw it up. And then around the world. Sometimes it's good to pretend like it's just about to get to here, and then it keeps going. It creates an extra wonderment there. Last time. Thanks. Now for the boring stuff, for business. Because all you want is magic. No, but this will, I deliberately decided to teach this one because I do believe it will increase your business.
Yeah.
And, you want to do something very memorable in the in your set that people can talk about to help increase business. Which brings me to that point where, how to increase your business. So I said here, do at least one memorable magic, something that people can really talk about. And by the way, a lot of people get lazy wearing the Leclerc hookup. It's like, it's annoying to do this. But if you have it, I don't know what else to say, but just don't get lazy. And especially when other magicians don't want to put the work into it. The loop, I do PK touches with it because, you don't have to be that close. I now have more of a range with it. And it's more convenient to have the loop. Same thing for the haunted deck. Even if I wasn't doing the credit card, you have to do that because it's just so much better.
Yeah,
so especially when other people don't put the effort and time, like interlace from Richard Sanders. A lot of people want to put that on all their pants and stuff. I have it on all my suits. So don't be lazy and try to do things that other people don't do that will really be memorable.
It's worth the extra investment in time and money to do something that people will absolutely remember that is completely impossible. Because it'll pay off.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Bizarro is calling me. I guess you're not watching the lecture.
So does he know where you are?
Yeah.
Bizarro's calling you right now.
Yeah. So we can say bad stuff about Bizarro now. All right. So
we would never say anything.
So
bad
we talked
it.
about how you appearance and how you project like you have money and that you're very successful, and to upsell. Forget about upselling myself. And again, it's not my nature. Tell people where you've been and what you do. It's not my nature to name drop and all this, but there was a magician, not going to say the name, sitting in the bar at Encore at the Wynn in Las Vegas. And a client of mine, I said hi to him and this and that. And he said, and I saw him sitting there. I said hi to him as well. He went to him. He came back maybe 2 minutes later and said, oh, did you know he's performing in Italy next week and this and that? And how did he get to tell him first he was a magician? Didn't do one trick for him, but I was already able to tell him he performed in Italy, performed for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and did all that stuff. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That magician makes a lot of money and does a lot of high-end events.
And didn't have to do a trick to impress someone.
Yes.
Just,
yes.
This is what I do.
Exactly.
This is where I've
Yeah. I'm doing a lot of gigs where, I don't know if you know Lior Suchard or not. He's a mentalist in Israel, does a lot of high-end gigs as well. And there's so many parties that I've done that have had him before as well. And they would say, "Oh my God, did you know Leo performed for Barbara Streisand's birthday party?" And like that's what they tell me. I'm like, "Did you know I did Muhammad Ali's 60th?" I don't say that, but it impresses people. And if you can find a tie-in in the conversation, again, you can lie or tell the truth, up to you. But it helps, all this name dropping. I've been in America's Got Talent. I find tie-ins into the conversation to say, oh my God, I've been very fortunate to perform for so-and-so. I love him so much and blah, 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 blah. But it also helps the upsell.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason also I learned it was okay, people will believe anything in marketing is one time when I was at the Mirage, they introduced me, he's the resident illusionist over at the MGM Grand. And people were like, wow. And I'm like, wait, no, it's Mirage, but never mind. But then I realized, they can say anything and they'll believe it. So when I stopped doing Magic the Mirage, guess what I was? I was the resident magician of the Bellagio. Does it matter if it's the truth now that I work at the Wynn or not? Not to the people who see you, So that's that. So now you've done magic for them, you blew them away, they're impressed, they got your business card, they went to your website, they call you, they want to book you. How do you get to charge a lot of money? Because a lot of us magicians, we're scared, we're not good at that, especially we're artists, we're not good at that kind of stuff. So here's the first thing. Ask them what their budget is, because they might not tell you, like 80% of the time they'll say, oh, we don't have an exact budget. They feel like you're fishing them, but you'll never know when they're going to tell you their budget, and you'll be surprised. I've had a lot of magicians book, and somebody would tell them, oh, I thought it will be a lot more than that. Did it ever happen to you guys? And you're like, oh, wow, that sucks, And I want to tell you a story. And I'm telling you this because I want you to do it as well. And now, of course, this was a very big client, but they got referred to me. And they told me, yeah, we would like to book you. We saw you. Somebody recommended you from the Wynn, which, by the way, sounds better than we saw you at the Wynn in a restaurant. They think, oh, he's got a show there. So, and I said, yeah, what is the budget you're working with? And they said, yeah, between $15,000 and $20,000.
I can work with that.
She said, great. I told her about the show. She said, great. Can you send us a proposal and this and that. I usually say it on the phone, but I was so shocked I didn't know what to say. I was like, okay, I'll send you. And guess what? The mentalism show cost $15,000, and the illusion show cost $20,000. Mm-hmm. They got themselves a mentalist. So, but in that context, I probably would have told her $5,000.
Yeah, without knowing the budget.
Without knowing the budget.
And think about that. I mean, that's a huge difference.
And I've known other magicians. They ask and they say, "Oh, it's $5,000," and they're like, "Okay, great. Let me tell you what I can do for you for $5,000." They describe the show, or whatever. So that's one way you can do it. Another way of doing it, especially when you do strolling, is not to charge by the hour, but to charge for the event. Mm-hmm. And I've mentioned it in my DVD before, but when you say you charge $500 an hour, it sounds expensive. A lawyer in Beverly Hills charge that much. But when you do an event, the band doesn't charge, less than $2,000 or something. So if you say, it's $1,500 for the event, mm-hmm. it doesn't sound like a lot. Mm-hmm. So in people's minds.
Yeah, even if you're there 3 hours, same thing,
exactly.
Said a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I also do, it makes your gig easier, because with my agents, they want to get the time, but I have private clients who call me. I tell them, I ask them how many people, and when sometimes they ask me for how long is it, I say it's for the event. My goal is to blow everybody away and to have a memorable event for everyone. So if, for 80 people, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you want me to stay longer, I will. I'm not going to look at the watch. And they always love that, that you're not like, I'm not hiring you by the hour. That already makes you more expensive, It's per event. If I'm not there, somebody else would book me in New York, so I can't do by the hour. Mm. And a lot of people will say, okay, come for an hour, It's funny because a lot of my friends, before I started doing this, asked me, why am I sharing all this stuff?
Yeah.
Why do you want people to know all this stuff? So there are two things. One is that in 2008, when the recession hit and I was doing so bad, a lot of people came through to me, magicians as well as entrepreneurs, and they helped me, and I want to give back. But in addition to that, there's a little bit of a selfish reason there. Because I believe that the more magicians charge high dollar amounts, the better it is for all of us, mm-hmm. or illusionists, I should say. because it raises the value and status of everybody. It's a lot easier to be on the phone and say, oh, we had somebody, but they only charge us $250 an hour. It's harder to charge $1,500, but if the other guy charged $1,500 and you think you're better than him, and they booked him, oh yeah, it's $2,500.
Yeah.
So the more people charge, it just basically raises the value of the whole profession. In New York, I know that everything starts from $1,500 there. It's a lot easier to charge over there. In Vegas, you have magicians who can charge $150 an hour or less than that, which is a lot harder to get. So that's that. So don't be afraid to share it with everybody else because it really helps everybody. And also, if somebody didn't see the lecture, tell them to buy it. All right, so $1,500 is a good amount to start if you're scared, if you're afraid. $2,000, $2,500 is also good. If they book you from out of town, don't be afraid to say at least $2,500 and more than that. And here is the thing. You can always come down on the price. It feels weird, but I know somebody who started from $10,000 and came down to $3,500. How did you come from $10,000? That's whatever reason you have to find to say, you know what, I really want to do the event that you're doing.
I believe in what you're doing.
Yeah. Please,
I like
just
what you're,
for other people, your friends, tell them you paid 10. Don't tell them I don't want them to know. As another good technique, if you want them to feel even more obligated, and that's only when you're established already, is to tell them, you know what, I don't work less than 10, but I'll tell you what. Just fly me over there first class and hotel accommodations, and I'll do it free of charge. They feel a lot more obligated, but you have to, again, tell them. Please, tell all you have to do, I'm doing this as a favor to you, I know all the billionaires are going to be in your party, just please tell everybody that, you can tell them how much I charge, that you booked me, and they should book me.
Right.
And they will do that. Now, of course, you can only do that when you can afford to do a gig for free. You don't have any expenses, but you can afford it. But until then, you can always just reduce the price and tell them not to tell anybody and find a reason to reduce the price. And they will reduce it. At that point, you can also ask them, well, it's way more than what we thought. What is your budget? Maybe I know another magician in town that can do it for you. And they'll always tell you, okay, we didn't think of spending more than this and that. And you can always come back and say, you know what, I'll do it. Or if you don't want to do it, you can again refer another magician that wants to work.
Sometimes
I
would say, I'd hate for you not to have the quality of entertainment you deserve, and so I'll meet you halfway or something like that. And it seems reasonable to them.
Yeah.
So
whatever the
there are
reason
ways
is, you start. That's the 101 art of negotiation. Let them sell the first price first, and if they don't tell you what their budget is. And you tell them, you can only come down from there. But if you start somewhere, you can't go up.
Yeah.
I hate saying $1,500. Oh, that's not a lot. Oh, great. And so, but that doesn't include this now. Don't do that.
It's actually the worst feeling in the world.
It's the worst.
Is to quote a price and have somebody go, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because they could pay more.
And at that point, don't try to say, oh, but that doesn't include this or this if you want me to customize it. No, I charge a high price. And then I'll customize, I'll put the time, I'll do everything. I want them to feel like I give them more than they paid for. I don't want them to say, oh, you want customized scripting? Here's another $500. No, I'm going to customize it for you, and they're impressed with it. That's just my way of doing it. Another way of getting more money, if you do stage shows, always try to sell a stage show as well. Because in people's minds, strolling is not as valuable as a stage performance. $1,500, $2,500 is a high amount for strolling, but $3,500 for a stage performance for a corporate gig is not a lot at all. I mean, I know that there's always people who expect to pay $800 and $500 for stage shows or $1,000, but when you do corporate, $3,500 is nothing. So if you say, maybe they saw you at a high-end restaurant and they don't know you can do stage, and they say we have 80 people. Oh, great, do you talk about the time? Let's do magic in the cocktail hour. I don't like to do it while they're eating, so I'll come between courses and stuff, but I think it would be a good idea if they want to do a show there as well afterwards for everybody. After dessert, don't ever do a show while they're eating. No servers hang around. And now, when you say a price, it doesn't sound that much. So that's another way of, help you to...
And you still price it out for the whole event, right?
Yeah, I still price it.
Exactly.
Plus
stage,
so if I said,
event.
5,000, and they said, well, how long is it for? Because there's only 50 people, it sounds a lot. So I say, it's not by the time, it's per event. And then I say, we can do a show. And she says, how much is it for this or that? And I found in the long run, it's better to just tell them, it's the same rate, If it's a stage illusion show, obviously it's not
gonna
going to be
a
the
bit more.
same rate.
Yeah, sure.
But if it's just for 50 people and that just means you do another 30 minutes on stage, it's great for you to do a stage show too. That's always good to get mileage from what we're talking in the beginning.
Right.
So yeah, I think that is about it.
Yeah, cool. A question over here from the audience. Let's have a microphone, Dave. It's all right. Yep.
How often do you turn down work?
I try not to. Having said that, I'm already right now. My clientele is almost all of them have money. I don't get any phone call that says $350, $500. Occasionally I do, and if I do, I personally don't do those only because I don't have to. But trust me, in 2008, I said $100, yes, $200, yes. Whenever you have to. But right now, even I don't turn. I just got a phone call for a college. I don't do a lot of colleges, but I guess they saw me somewhere, and they didn't have a lot of budget to work with, and they stretched there the most, and I ended up doing it. Think it was maybe 3,000 or something. I said, you know what? I'm not going to sit at home and not do anything. So, and it's good money, not complaining. But try not to cancel gigs if you don't have to. Sometimes what you do is you tell them, look, this is not my regular rate, but I can do it unless not somebody else calls me for another gig. Then I'll make sure to find you another world-class magician, and a lot of time they'll go for it. That way, in case you think, oh, it's a Saturday, I'm probably going to book it. It's on Christmas, I can't. Probably going to get it booked. Then you tell them that, they'll go for it.
Yeah, sounds good. Butch, did you have a question?
Yes, you mentioned you have a manager. Does your manager do any of your booking, or do you do all your own booking?
My manager's not doing any of my bookings. He was trying to be politically correct. Supposed to be dealing with all the big stuff. That's all I'm going to say.
It's
but
hard to find good management, I think, is what the answer is.
It's hard to find good management. Yeah. But no, I do all my own bookings.
There aren't a lot of Peter Ravines in the world. We can't all get a great manager, it's hard. It's hard to find good management.
Yeah. They usually get excited when you're successful.
Yeah.
Which is very difficult. But that's another good way of doing it. A lot of people I know on the contact page on their email, they say management, they put an email and they just use an ally. And they themselves send an email. I personally have my wife deal with all my emails, and she used to work in Capitol Hill, so she knows all the ins and outs of all that stuff, and she's great at it. And in fact, I get most compliment about how she's handling everything than me. But so I use her to do that, and that seems, your assistant, they keep calling her, and whenever I get to know them and I have a good relationship with the client, I'll tell them she's my wife, and that's acceptable, that, your manager is your wife and stuff like that. But you can create an ally and just say, not in a phone call, obviously, but in an email.
Oh, Andy Kaufman used to do it all the time, acted as his own manager. It was crazy. But he was pretty insane. Would you like to show another quick trick? Actually, we did have a request come in for the color change. I think you were going to show that anyway.
Sure, I was going to show that anyways. Yeah. Thanks for giving it away already. But
come on now,
no,
it's
the element of surprise.
As much as I could. I didn't even say exactly.
Yeah, I know.
It's just the.
I'm kidding.
All right, then don't even bother doing it.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it. So, can you guys come over here? Just stand over here for a second.
I'm gonna scoot out of the way. You can get right up close.
Yeah, that's fine. So cards all different. Yeah. You seem scared. Don't be scared. I'm just going to riffle through the cards. Oh my God, no, I'm scared. I'm not scared. I'm going to riffle through the cards. Just say stop whenever you feel like it, okay? Stop. Take it, but don't let me see it. Look at it. You take this one as well. Don't let me see it. Remember it. Make sure everybody sees both cards. Got it? Can I turn back? You saw each other's too? Oh, okay. Look at each other's. Got it? Yeah. Isn't it weird? You both took the 10s. It's kind of weird, right? It's a coincidence. But that's not the amazing part. The amazing part is that I want you to check the cards. Make sure the ink doesn't wipe off. I know it sounds silly, but make sure the ink doesn't wipe off on the cards. Doesn't wipe off, right? Let me see. Doesn't wipe off? It's solid. No matter what you do, you can't wipe it off. But if you color it, you can actually see that it becomes red very, very slowly. Can you see that? Thank you.
And that's it. That's a quick trick.
So this is actually my favorite color change. There's so many out there, and I've learned so many. Once I start doing this one, it gets requested over and over and over. The only thing I hate about it is that it ruins my mnemonica deck. But let me show you how it works. I've seen a magician lectured in Israel when I was probably 12, and he had a long routine with aces and finding them, and did that, and then in the end finding the other two aces. And I thought it was a little bit anticlimactic to, once you do the color change, to find the other two because it wasn't as strong as this. So I've kind of shortened it just to kind of do this. Anyways, in strolling magic, you want to head right to the point right away. So, and I've also figured, since it's a color change, why not use the most ink? So instead of using aces, I'm using tens. I have the most ink. The most visible change. Obviously, court cards have more ink, but it's not as striking. So this is what I do. I am also detail-oriented, and I make sure that the heart changes to spade, because it looks the most similar. Yeah, with the ace of spades too, it didn't like it. Just looks like you switch card. It didn't look like it's painted. So this is how I have it. I like to have contrast. So if it's a blue deck, I'm going to make sure that it ends up being red. If it's a red deck, I'll make sure it ends up being black. Okay. So this is the setup. You take, so in order for this one to change into that, they have to touch each other. So if it's 10 of clubs, spades, hearts, diamonds, or if you do red to black, the spades and heart have to be like in the middle, just like that. Yeah? Okay. All right. So let's say I'm changing into those. I'm going to take it and just put it like that, facing each other on top of the deck. And I'll take these two and put them on top. Now at this point, I'm going to force the two tens without exposing this. And my favorite force for this one is I guess it's called the dribble force, classic force. What I do is I do a pass, but you can just, as you talk, just kind of cut the cards and then make sure you have a grip on it. Okay, so this is the setup right here. This is on top. You can either cut, or as you talk, just kind of do a pass. So you're just playing with the cards. And then you do a dribble pass, and you're basically going to stop right here. So the reason it looks like it's like classic force is because you have to feel the timing of when they're going to tell you to stop. If you go too far, it's no good. If they don't tell you to stop right away, then you have to keep going. Okay, and does that happen sometimes? And I just make sure that when I do keep going, if I know I passed it, I make sure marked card sticks out, and then I keep going, and I go really fast, and if they say stop, now it's marked, and I can just kind of grab it and put another, I can just grab it and I can do it again. I say a little faster now. But here are some of the ways that they won't do it. One of the things that I say is I'm going to riffle through the cards, just say stop. So when I do that, I do this and I riffle really fast so that it makes them feel like it's going to be fast. So I say, I'm going to riffle through the cards, just say stop for me whenever you feel like it.
Stop.
All right? And then you just drop whenever they say stop. Okay? Another way is if I go through it and I feel like they're not getting to it, I'll slow down a little bit. And they usually say stop at that point. If not, I'll just do that. If I see that person is problematic, I'll go to somebody else. All right. I'll do a different force, or I'll move to a different trick. But technically, it doesn't happen. So once you have it there, you say, okay, take one card. And actually, we'll take another one as well, as an afterthought, right? And you grab it, and you bring the force back to the top. Sorry, over here, I didn't even have this set up. I just had it like this. I just had 4 tens. That's what I did. I just had 4 tens. And after
I was curious about that, because
after
doing
I
the dribble force, you want to wait.
Yeah, that's right. After the force, what I did is when they showed around, that's when I did my setting.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you can go either way, because I don't think they can see it on the force going really fast. But I did this, and then I have a break on it. So now I have 2 cards facing each other with a break on it. 2 people chose the cards. If the setup the way that it was, you're going to take the non-spades or heart for them to be together first. You're going to put it on top of that. You do that as you tell them, check the cards. By the way, when you discover their card, it says, isn't it funny you both took the 10s? They go, ha, ha, ha. And then you stop them right there and you say, well, that's not the amazing part. The amazing part is I want you to check these cards, make sure that the ink doesn't wipe off. I know it sounds weird, but make sure it doesn't wipe off. And as you do this, you're placing it here and keep doing this. And now I have a break on 3 cards. Okay? So make sure the ink doesn't wipe off. It doesn't, right? Good. And then here's what I do. I grab this card with my middle finger and thumb and also show you can't wipe it off. And then I'm going to switch the 3 cards with the 1 card. I'm going to grab the 3. With this thumb, I'll just kind of put it down and switch them like this. So now I have all 3 cards over here. Okay. And by the way, I remember Billy McComb once showed me you can do it like this. And there's some other ways to do the change, but this is particularly my favorite one because it just looks so magical and it looks so real. So you have it like this, and now as you grab it right over here, you pinch it a little bit so the 3 cards don't spread. You pinch it right over here, and then you say, if you color it. By the way, if you do see you can't see it. So over here, it's squared up, and once I start painting, I say, very slowly, it'll change into black. I make sure they get focused on it. And then I just let it drop and keep going a couple of times more. So the move is super, super easy, actually. It looks so beautiful and it's super easy. So as you do this, all I do is drop the 2 cards and leaving me with 1 card. And that's it. Again, from here, you just kind of, this is what my hand is doing. From this side, it just pushes it up a little bit and doing that. Okay, so from here, doing this, colors, and then you have to make sure that you only let away 1 card so it doesn't flash. 1 card, and I drop them. Even if they don't check it, I like to drop them to make sure that it's normal cards. If there is heat over here, I'll sometimes just kind of do a pass and leave it to the middle. And that's what I used to do in the beginning, is to make the other one appear in the middle, and then make the last one jump. But I feel like it's not as strong as this, therefore it's anticlimactic, so I don't do it. One way to get out of it, once you have this here, you've just done this. I keep a break on these 2. And as I'm about to turn these over, I'll grab the the bottom card of the 2 and lift it with it and close it. And I've done it, I don't know, you probably haven't noticed it, hopefully, but that's what I did. It doesn't matter. When I finished cleaning up here, so after you did it, you're getting ready to move to your next trick, and you just do that, and none of it is showing face up. So,
yeah, sweet.
Cool.
Well, yeah. Well, let's talk about how you got started in magic, because you've got a really interesting story. Like the way that you found out about magic also involves another magician.
Yes,
Yeah.
Asi Wind,
Yeah.
or how his real name is Asi Betish, but Wind sounds more magical. But yeah, we actually were going to the same class in elementary school. He's from Israel as well. Our accent sounds similar when we talk in Hebrew accent. But we were in a class and he took a magic course. I think we were like 12 years old. He took a magic course in Tel Aviv. And then he did magic to the class. And the trick that really got me was making a silk disappear in the hand.
Yeah.
He make the silk disappear. I didn't know how he did it. Then he did it again. And I remember it was during Terminator time. So the second time he did it, I pretended I was Terminator and I can see everything. And he had no sleeves on. And I looked really close. And there's no way that silk could have gone. And I've gone crazy. And of course, then I nagged him. I was like, I want to be a friend. Which I'm sure that's why he did it. But yeah, of course he wouldn't tell me. And I said, oh, you're fine. I'll just go to that magic shop and I'll learn the same trick. And he said, no, it's not good there anymore. And so I said, you know what? Let me do this. I actually was so obsessed with it, and I figured out a way. For like literally 2 weeks, I was so obsessed with it, and I actually came up with a way to do it, which is pretty close to a thumb tip.
Right. Yeah. You were saying that you were just taking tape, right, and just making a device.
I just went over in my head and I said, "There's no way it could have gone anywhere. He probably had like some kind of a pocket in his hand." And so I first put like Scotch tape. We had this brown Scotch tape from the war back there in Israel. I put it in here, but I was like, "Oh, you can so see it." And then I started, going through everything, and I came up with a thumb tip on my own, basically. And I wrapped my thumb, made like a little thumb tip, and I made it. And I started doing it to kids in the neighborhood. I would just call them from the window, but the tape was so brown, different, so I had to do this, and then go, and it's gone! And they're all like, oh my God, you figured it out, And then after I practiced, I showed it to Asi, and I said, there it is. And he said, wow, that's actually pretty close to how it works. You know what? You put that much work into it, let me teach you. And then I called that magic shop over there and said, are you guys teaching? And they said, yes, we're teaching. And I said, no, let me teach you. I'll teach you everything. So we became best friends ever since.
Yeah.
Yep. We were actually a duo for a while.
Yeah.
Back and forth. The band broke up a few times. We each needed our own spotlight. So, yeah, we loved working together. Since we were like 16, we were like in the biggest amusement parks in Israel that all the magicians in Israel wanted to do. And then when I was 19, I moved to the States.
It was a little bit before him, right?
Yeah, well, for the year afterwards, we stayed in touch all the time. And I told him about this magician, David Blaine, that nobody knew about in Israel. And I sent him tapes. And I was trying to convince him to move to the States, And he was really fearful because of the language and stuff, but he ended up booking a show from Israel to do magic in the States, and he ended up staying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
God bless America.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Great. The land of magicians. It's fantastic.
Land of opportunity.
And something that you became, instantly famous, recognizable for was the backflip card stab. I mean, there's no way around it. If anybody heard of you when you first arrived on the scene, that's what they saw was that. So how did that all come about?
I'm a very athletic person, and I just learned, it was probably like 20, 21, I learned how to do a backflip.
And it's a standing backflip. If
a
you
standing
haven't
backflip,
seen it,
yeah.
you've got to look it
But
up.
actually, I saw my brother in Israel doing it, and I said, if he's doing it, I have to do it. So I just went to like sand dunes and started practicing it, and because it's downhill.
Oh, yeah.
And then I went to uphill sand dunes and then grass, and I'm like, okay, I can do a backflip. So I had no technique whatsoever, but I did it, and because I just had a very high jump for a white boy or an other boy. I'm not sure what to put everything.
Yeah.
I'm not white. But so once I did it, I said, beforehand I was thinking, I want to do do a handstand and kick my card with my foot. And I just never thought it was that great. Once I did a backflip, I was like, I have to do that.
Yeah, and we should mention you're not doing it now.
I'm not doing it. I've retired it.
You've retired it.
I've retired it.
Because I don't want anybody to get excited like we're going to see it.
Too stressful. Yeah, I was going to do it at the table here, but yeah, it was too stressful. It was too much stretching before each show, and let me just not mention what was in my leg.
Yeah, and you were
because some people think it's a skill, it's a trick. A lot of magicians are watching it. It's like, I thought you were really kicking it and grabbing it. No,
that part's a trick, but there is a skill in doing it. But
Yeah.
you were doing it in dress shoes, and even before that, you were doing it in boots with a spike on it.
Yeah,
like the wrong kind of footwear.
Yeah. So when I thought if I want to do it, I had no method. I went to John Gahn basically in LA, and I said, hey, this is what I want to do. You have a method for me? And we brainstormed together, and we came up with a method. And he built it for me. Probably was the most expensive card trick ever built. Thanks a lot, John Gahn. But and first I envisioned it with a spike, like Griff from Back to the Future too. And I did it with that. And the problem with that was it was really cool, but it's not as organic. And it didn't have a setup. Because I did it every night at the V show. Twice, sometimes 3 times a night. So you can gauge a reaction like consistently. It's not like you do a show here, a show there, and the crowd is better. So for a week you do it this way, and then for another week you do it that way, and you can see the difference in the applause. So when I switched to duct tape from the spike, there was more of a setup. People were getting ready. No way he's going to do that. What? And I would set it up, and I would tell him what I was about to do. The only thing I didn't tell him that I was doing a back flip. I told him I'm going to do a kick, because I still wanted to stay a little surprised. But I didn't want him to say like, oh, what happened? We missed something. So the applause got better, so much better. In the beginning, actually, there was a fan goes into a trash can, and then Jumbo Card Fountain makes him fly, but it looks like the fan makes all the card fly, and that kicked it. And for some reason, a lot of people thought that once it hit the floor, I got the card or something.
Yeah, because they were scattered all over the place already.
So then I switched it to my dancer holding the cards, and I kicked them. Reaction went up, like those applause meter. I'm like, you can tell it's so much better. But then sometimes she was afraid I'm going to kick her, so she would move the cards like this. So occasionally I would miss because she would move it, and then she let go, but then the card still appeared in my shoe. So I said, you know what, I'm going to build a tripod. Yeah. And as soon as I built a tripod, reactions gotten better because she was not a distraction anymore. So it was just me, tripod, and backflip, and that was the best part.
Yeah. Now, have you ever missed when you were doing that?
I've missed 3 times in my life. The first 2 times were excruciating.
Because what? Because you had no out?
I had no out.
Yeah.
I had no out, and I didn't think it could happen. And then, basically, I didn't miss. I actually hit the card, and then from the impact, it fell on the floor.
Yeah.
So it came to my shoe while I'm doing the backflip, and then it got torn off from my hookup and got spat on the floor. So I can't go find it. I said, oh, this is where it was. I caught it, believe me. Second time it fell, I was really depressed. It was in Germany. I was doing a show, again, 2 shows a night, and it was the second show. So of course I was depressed from that night till the next night while I was doing it successfully. And I started thinking about an out. And so I had an out. My out was, I had another one folded in my shoe, in my left shoe, so if anything happened, I can always say, oh, not only that, it went into the shoe, folded in 4, and it's still the same perfect match. And it was funny because for about probably 8 years, I'd done it after that. Now one time I needed the out.
Yeah, but you were wearing the out the whole time.
But wait, until the night I said to everybody, and I posted on Twitter, everything. I said, tonight I'm going to retire my back flip. My joints, they're not hurting, but I heard in my age it could start hurting, so I didn't want to risk it. I was pushing myself to create more stuff. I ended up using the out. I was saying to myself, isn't it funny? I never used it. The last performance I used the out, which kind of made me feel, I should do it one more time. I'm like, no, that's perfect ending.
Because it's kind of saying to you, that's it.
That's
it. Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Now, you performed for some just amazing celebrities and world leaders. You got to have some interesting stories from the people that you've worked for.
So, first of all, one time I did manage for Mel Gibson. It was right after his thing of the Jewish people and the black people. And when I borrow a credit card, I always have jokes. Trust me, I'm an honest Jewish Vegas magician. That's my line. And the whole time I was performing for him, I said, "Do not say that line. Do not say that line. Do not say that line." And I didn't. And that was good. But yeah, 2 stories that come to mind. One was very special to me, and one was just a very dangerous, interesting scenario. The fun one for me was from Michael Jackson.
Okay.
I was a huge, huge fan of his my whole life. and that was the one thing that my manager did do. And he brought me to meet him, and yeah, that was amazing. I couldn't believe it because I was one of those fans who, when he came to Israel, I went to his hotel room. I slept the night before for the show, and I watched both shows. Huge, huge fan of his. I can do the whole Billie Jean right now, and you will not be able to tell it's not Michael. So I was kind of hoping you would challenge me. No, I'm kidding.
I want to, but I always get in trouble when I do stuff like that.
No.
People write in, why did you make Shimshi dance like Michael Jackson?
No, so went up to his hotel room, and I just...
A little bit.
No hats?
No hat?
Doesn't work well without the hat.
You've just officially made this the best interview ever.
Oh my goodness! I did not. How did you guys come up with that Billie Jean so quickly? Wow.
We work with the best crew ever. Yeah.
That came fast. I was thinking, should I do it? Should I put it in my phone and they won't hear it? And every time I was thinking that, he already had it on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I did not do that dance for him.
No, okay.
But yeah, it was amazing. I came, I met him. When he walked in, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And he had his slippers, which had sparkles on them, typical. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just was dancing. I'm sorry if I'm sweating. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. You practice your dance.
Yeah.
And did some magic for him. He absolutely loved it. He, I didn't stretch or anything. So, yeah, he said, oh, you're going to mess me up? And
It's some water for
thank you. And, I thought it would be a short interaction. Actually, I told Ossie, because Ossie's a big friend of Michael, too. He was living in New York at the time. He flew in.
Yeah.
So I told him I'm about to
was
meet
in
Michael
LA,
Jackson.
right?
I was in LA. I
Yeah.
drove to
Yeah.
Vegas, and he flew in from New York. I said, I don't know if I can introduce you to him or not. He said, doesn't matter. I'm flying just in case. And, spent like 2 hours with him. Came back down, and then Michael's calling me and saying, hey, I want to show you something. Do you want to come back up? I'm like, yeah, I'll hang out. And then Ossie came with me. I said, can I bring my friend? I said, sure, just no pictures, because it was the time that he had this plaster on his nose. I don't know if you remember, so I didn't take any pictures.
Sure.
So that kind of sucked. But yeah, and then he comes, he plays us. I don't know if you've seen the short movie he did, Ghost.
I haven't seen it.
When he was, he put like the fat man's bodysuit, and he was dancing as a skeleton. Oh my God, one of the
wow.
biggest masterpieces
Oh, cool. I'll have to look
ever. It's really great. So he plays it for us. Oh, I want you to see something I did. I'm like, really? Because I watched the how-to and all that. I know all that. And, it was just surreal to watch him watch himself and laughing from the jokes and this and that. I'm like, that moment, he seemed like a legend. And I was like, oh, it's just a person, But even though, when I stepped down, they have a secret floor at the Mandalay Bay, which gets you to the Four Seasons in Vegas. And that's where he is. You have to go from the Four Seasons to the Mandalay Bay. And we came back down, and it's just so surreal. You don't believe you met Michael Jackson. It's like, nobody believes you at the time, too. It was just so long ago. And so that was my fun experience. The second experience will not make me dance, which is I was performing at the Wynn, and they saw me and they called me to perform for the Prince of Saudi Arabia. And I was like, sure, I'll perform for the Prince of Saudi Arabia. And then I remember too, it was the next night I had a show in New York. I had to take like a 7 a.m. flight. They said, but he's gambling right now. You can come to his suite like around, midnight or 1 o'clock. I said, okay, sure. I was tired, but it's the prince.
Sure.
So I come up there at midnight. They say, oh, he's still gambling. So I come in the entrance. There is a Saudi Arabian guard and American guard, right? And I walk in and they explain who I am and what I'm doing there. They say, okay, come in. And as soon as I walk into the suite, I've entered a new world now. This is all Saudi Arabia people with all that stuff on their head. And they say you can wait in the suite as a room like with a big pool table and all that. You can wait over there. And I come, there's a big screen television all about the war with Israel and in Arabic. And, and I'm just sitting there and I'm starting to feel nervous. I'm like, because I've like entered a new world. Nobody knows right now who I am. And I know a little Arabic, so when people say, ahlan, ahlan, I say, ahlan, and it's been an hour and 2 hours and 3 hours. And I'm like, I just want to leave. I'm texting my wife. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I want to leave. What am I going to do if they ask me where I'm from? And at one point, one guy came in and said, ahlan, and I said, hey. It slipped out instead of saying ahlan. And he looked at me like this. Because Middle Easterns, I can pass as an Arab. So he was like, who are you? Where are you from? And he's shaking my hand the whole time. And I said, I live here in Vegas, I'm a magician. So no, where are you originally from?
Right.
And he doesn't let
He's
go
not
of my
letting
hand.
go until you answer.
Until
you answer.
I let him go. So, and then I sit down and,
right.
oh, sorry, I was standing, and then he's like, I said, I'm originally from Israel, and he went like this.
No.
That was crazy.
Oh, really?
And it's like 5 guys came like 2 seconds later, and it was like, have a seat, boom, and they set me down. And I was really scared. And he was like, where are you from? Where are you from? And of course, I've been like, I know they can make me disappear there. They don't care. I'm at the Win or wherever. So I was like, yeah, they asked me to come here. I'm the magician over at the Win. And they said, who asked you? Of course, I completely blanked. I'm like, I don't know, Muhammad Ahmed, somebody, I don't know. And I don't know how they called, made some phone calls, and I'm like, it's okay, you can sit here. And they figured out it was okay. But of course, they keep throwing like jokes at me. You might have seen him. You might have been seeing him in Lebanon with you or something. I was like, oh, I didn't go to the army. I promise. And then finally, I just want to go home. Finally, like 4 a.m. and I got a flight. He came over and I did magic for him, and it was amazing how we became like best friends afterwards.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. It's like the power the magic has. Really, like had so much animosity, and those same people who were like trying to, to get me, they were sitting there with him, and afterwards, hey bro, that's so awesome, and hugs and this and that, and they said, we want you tomorrow. I said, I'm sorry, I'm in New York, although I would have come here tomorrow because you pay better, but I can't. So yeah, and it's funny because 2 weeks ago, I performed for the Sultan, which is, I guess, the king. I didn't even know he was a Sultan until a week afterwards. They wouldn't tell me who he was.
Yeah, right. You had mentioned this.
They were like,
we were talking before that you performed for somebody. You were told it was somebody really important.
Yeah.
You were invited to this place, and you were given, 3 guards for yourself?
No. There were 10 guests
10
and
guests.
30 guards.
30
so there were
guards.
3 guards for
per,
every guest.
Yeah, right.
And it was just so weird. I was like, yeah, just perform for them. Like, there's a whole party over here.
Yeah.
And they had like guards from England, guards from Saudi Arabia, guards from America. I was like, I don't know. They had guards. It was in a private dining room in one of the restaurants. They had guards checking the kitchen the whole day, make sure. It's really good. I didn't know who he was. So before that event, I told him, he said, just so you know, I'm from Israel. Yeah, I don't want to make sure it's not a problem. Before I even walked in there. And like, okay.
Yeah. And then afterwards, you found out who it was.
Afterward, I found out who it was.
And,
I'm like, oh my God.
And he loved your performance as well, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. We often get people asking what effect you like to do. If somebody says, oh, I saw you on America's Got Talent, or I heard you were a magician, do you have like some kind of a go-to effect? Now, you told me that you've got a really good routine for
Yeah.
something that they might already be familiar with. Would you show it to us?
Yeah, I love to do the arm twist.
Yeah.
But let me show you my, not my version, there's no
Yeah.
versions, but it's like all my ads onto it.
Okay. Is there a good place to do it?
Yeah,
Would you like a little-
actually it would be good over
Can we
here.
go over here?
Yeah.
I'll move these glasses out of the way.
Yeah. Do you mind helping me out for a second? Yeah? And I'm kind of scared of you, but do you mind helping me out also? All right, so let's see. Could you stand right over here? Yeah, and can you stand over here for me? Good. And could you put your left hand on the table? Not on me, on the table. Yeah, right here. Actually, let's take the
mat off?
mat out. All right, cool. Yeah, put it on the table. And could you turn your hand this way for me? Can you go a little more? Yeah, that's pretty good. Could you actually take your left hand, and hold on to my hand right over here, just to make sure it's my real hand? Yeah, is that fair? Yeah, yeah. Can you go a little bit more? A little bit more? I don't want you to hurt yourself, but is that about all you can do?
Yeah.
Okay, relax. Let you go. Let go. Relax. Yeah, and take your hand and push my hand a little bit further. Yeah, yeah. Just kind of.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can just grab it right here. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just push. Okay. All right. Do a little bit more. Okay, stop. Now, when I move my hands, can you feel my muscles move? It's not like my shoulder is not dislocated or anything, right? All right. Keep going. Go, 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 go. Okay, hold on. Let's move it to here. All right, keep going. Go, go, go. Don't be afraid. It's starting to be fun. Okay, keep going. Okay, go, go, go. More. You can do it. All right, we've gone too far. We have to bring it back now. But no, we'll do it from this. We'll bring it back. Yeah, just keep going. Yeah, come from here. Yeah, no. Keep going. Yeah, there you go. Go. More. Okay, that's good. Wait. Thank you. Now I'm all stretched. Now I can do it.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I realized, about this trick that, do not do it fast, because it builds up so much, and the more you do it, the further you go, the more amazing it is. And then to let her, or usually I use a guy to hold me. Mm-hmm. They usually grab hard, and I say, you don't have to let her so hold. But it kind of sells the idea that there's no fake hand or something.
Yeah.
No shoulder. I've actually done it to a surgeon one time who was holding my hand. He said, I'm a surgeon. This is impossible. So it helps to have him hold it.
Perfect.
But what really does it is it's all about her. If she pushes it, and she's the one who usually, sometimes they don't even want to push it. Like, oh, yeah. And that's one of those tricks, dude, that will get like a 50 people worth of crowd and trying to see it. So
yeah, and you don't have to carry anything with you except the
Nothing.
knowledge of doing it. For anybody that's not familiar with it, you can get let's
fake
see.
hands at
No, not fake hands. No. You can get there's a few DVDs out. The first explanation that came out was published by Marriated in 1988. That trick was invented by Shinko Nagisa, and Marriated popularized it, did it in his award-winning act, and it's also on a DVD by him. So it's great. It's just a great way to do that. The last thing that I want to talk to you about.
Sorry, I'm still in shock that I was dancing. But
yeah, it was great. we were pleased by it, and it's on video, and now it'll never go away. But by the way, that was very, very good. Yeah, it was very, very good. So the last thing I want to talk about is that you've done a lot of television appearances, and the most recent was on Wizard Wars, which is a fantastic show.
Thank you.
Very positive for magic. It really shows magic in a great light with people, being creative and that kind of stuff. So, beyond making money, because what you've talked about mainly is making money and what makes money. There's also the artistic side that we all have. We're all drawn to it, and your putting together some very creative stuff to do an illusion show, not like any other show in Las Vegas. You want to do something that's a little bit different. But what I wanted to talk about is your process, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is you and I spoke briefly about it before, and it was something that I hadn't heard of that you use from Guy Hollingworth. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Guy Hollingworth lecture notes, Waiting for Inspiration. He talks about how to force basically creativity, and he came up with an amazing method, which he called Scamper. Which is initials for substitute, combine, adapt, I have to spell it, magnify, minify, put into use,
I have it here.
eliminate.
That's probably right. Where is it?
Yeah, eliminate. Yeah, and reverse. Yeah. Which basically means if you take any trick, or even methods for that matter, and just try to do this, every single one of those, with those you have something new. Because really in the world there's nothing new. There's no new product. Even like the iPhone, which was revolutionizing, that was the C in Scamper, which was combine. They combined a phone with a touchscreen computer, and combined, which touchscreen computer were already in existence, and they combined them together, and that made it revolutionary. And so if you take any two magic tricks, magic props, and I've created magic for Le Rêve, for the show in Le Rêve, and I've used that for this. That's like over $100 million show that they put in Le Rêve, and they had magic there. They didn't like it. I'm not going to say who created it first, but then Steve wanted me to create magic there, and I went and I saw the show, and it's hard because first of all it's in a round, but I wanted to go with the theme of the show. So they had a lot of water, and they had flowers. They actually used birds in the show, and all that stuff. And I took a bunch of stuff and either combined it or took a small trick, made it bigger, or the other way around. And so using all this stuff as far as creativity helps. I've seen award-winning juggling act, which was they were playing tennis while they were juggling. And if you think about it, it's only a combine. Yeah. There's nothing new there. It's just combining playing tennis with it. So if you want to, be creative and do some stuff, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And now on Wizard Wars, we've only seen 2 so far. There's a few more to come, and maybe there'll be another season of it and that kind of stuff. Yeah, you do a great job on there.
Thank you.
What other stuff are you working on for the future? You are working on building that illusion show. Do you have any specific things that you can tell us about the kind of way you're designing it? Or?
Well, I will tell you it has to do with movement.
Okay.
Well,
because you're trained in dance as well, right?
Yes, but I've learned how to dance after I already was dancing in shows.
Oh, okay.
So in Israel, I always thought that I have more of natural talent in dancing than I do in magic, because I could pick up choreographies and stuff without ever to learn, and I was performing in a few musicals, not doing magic at all over in Israel. And, at a certain point when I put in my magic act, I decided, I got to be trained because I want to be good at it. And of course, after I did the backflip trick, I went and learned how to do a backflip, so it's all correct. But I didn't start that way. So yeah, I am trained in dance, and, it's something new, fun flavor to bring into the magic. I've been doing it for a long time, and had a lot of conclusions. Like, you can't have too much dance because people come to see magic.
Right.
But where I'm going for right now is not to do dance to the sake of dancing and then do magic for the sake of magic. If I can combine them together, and the movement will be the magic and the magic will move the movement, that's what I want to do. That's just one aspect that I want to create. But basically, I want to eliminate all boxes that seems like boxes.
Yeah.
I don't say that box magic is bad. It's very good. But it has to feel more organic. Who is Robert Houdin, I believe? they call him the father
Of modern conjuring, sure.
Modern conjuring. Was it because that he took all close-up magic and did it with everyday objects?
Yeah, that, and of course, he made things look
Yeah.
more like normal
Right.
things. Took drapes away from stuff and
Right.
wore evening
Yeah.
dress.
And we do it in close-up, but on stage for some reason it's still okay to roll in,
a fancy painted box that you wouldn't see anywhere else.
Yeah, or a box with a sawing,
Yeah,
and I'm
sure.
guilty. I'm still, I'm taking them out slowly because they still cost a lot of money. But that's the goal. So it could be a set piece that you're working with, but you don't want people to say, "Oh, I've seen that trick before," or "Oh, that's going to do that now." You want it to kind of flow more. So it's a long process. I've been working on it for 14 years now. It hasn't happened yet, but that's what I'm focused on. I do a lot of that because of Wizard Wars and other TV appearances. I create magic for television because that's different. And then close-up magic. I do all the time new. That's the one last thing I didn't get a chance to talk about when we were doing all this because we wanted to see magic so fast. But we always have to innovate. And you have to think like Apple. How every year they're launching a new iPad or do this and do that. And it's not just Apple, it's every company.
Right.
And I had people that booked me 1 year, 2 years, and then they kind of stopped booking me. And I felt bad. I'm like, oh, they're seeing the same stuff. Why would they keep booking me? And they stop. And now every year I change, at least for my close-up, I add another 50%. And for my stage show, I change a lot, at least 30%. And I wish to change 100% really, just because I'm doing so many things at the same time. But it's so important for clients who book you over and over to see new stuff every time. They want to see the oldies. Oh, can you do the credit card? Can you do that?
The classics that they've come to know and love, but then you've got to show them something that
exactly. And
reignites
that
them.
would make them book you again. Because they're like, oh my God, every time we book him, we got something new. We want to book him again and again. And I've had clients now that have booked me for like 7 years straight. And so that helps a lot to keep working on new stuff all the time.
Yeah, well, terrific. Well, let's have another big round of applause for Shimshi. And
Thank you.
And I'll tell you what, you've shared not just solid magic with us, solidly performed, but also great advice that I think anybody can put to use to raise the bar a little bit, make themselves more successful, help out all of magic.
My pleasure. And if anybody have any more
Yep.
questions and want advice, please feel free to email me. I would love to answer back to you and help you.
Yeah, terrific. Thanks for being here, and thank you so much for supporting Live Magic. We'll see you next time. Thank you.